Legislation approved by the State House would require you to move to the right shoulder when you're getting pulled over. Public Safety Committee Chair Clint Crow, who's a former police officer, says he supports the measure.
Until you've stood on the side of the interstate with cars going by at 70 plus, you don't know how dangerous it is.
The bill now heads over for consideration in the Senate. At the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Cloudy, 65 degrees in Atlanta, warming up to a high of 74. And keep those umbrellas handy for potential pop-up showers. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. And new this morning, a Taco Bell in Fairburn is damaged after a car slams into the business.
Bricks, broken glass, and other materials strewn about the sidewalk outside and the floor inside the restaurant on Sonoya Road just south of I-85. A white sedan crashing through a wall and front window, causing considerable damage to the building and the vehicle. Fairburn fire crews stabilized the impacted area to ensure the building was safe. There are no injuries and no word on what caused the driver to crash. It's not clear when the restaurant will be able to reopen. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Complaints and a police search lead to the closures of 4 massage parlors in Sandy Springs.
It all stems from complaints about human trafficking and prostitution that lead police to execute search warrants at Pileotherapy on Cliffwood Drive and Pearl Massage on Roswell Road. The information gathered there leads to those businesses being closed and 2 other Roswell Road spas, Massage Springs and Jade Spa, to be shut down as well. A handful of arrests were made and a trio of women are now facing solicitation charges. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
9:02, the world's media continue to stake out the 2 addresses associated with the former Prince Andrew one day after his arrest.
As far as we know, since being released from police custody last night, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor remains holed up in his new temporary quarters on the King's private estate in Sandringham, eastern England. British police, meanwhile, continue to search Andrew's former home, a mansion on the grounds of Windsor Castle.
Vicky Barker reports Andrew may be free, but he remains under investigation for suspected misconduct in public office. It's related to his ties to late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. He denies any wrongdoing. A trio of cities will host memorial services to honor the late Reverend Jesse Jackson.
The Rainbow Push Coalition says its founder will lie in repose at the group's headquarters in Chicago next week. Memorial services for the 2-time Democratic presidential candidate will also be held in early March in Washington, D.C., and in his native South Carolina.
Rory O'Neill reports Jackson died earlier this week after a lengthy illness. He was 84. Well, NASA is wrapping up its review of the incident that stranded 2 astronauts, Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, aboard the International Space Station for more than 9 months. The issues were apparently far worse than initially revealed.
Thruster problems nearly prevented them from reaching the station. The NASA review upgrades the seriousness of the incident to a Type A mishap, the same category as the Columbia and Challenger shuttle disasters.
Nicole D'Antonio reports NASA says failures were not just at the hardware level, but in decision-making and leadership. It says if these failures are not addressed, it could create problems in future human spaceflight. Happening today, First Lady Melania Trump set to donate her 2025 inaugural ball gown to the Smithsonian. She'll attend an event at the museum and deliver remarks there. The gown was featured in her recently released documentary titled Melania, where the designer was seen sketching it and fitting her in it. The gown will be displayed at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. It's now 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. First, though, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We go now live to the WSB 24-hour traffic center with Smilin' Mark McKay.
Thanks, Cheryl. Delays through downtown have really improved. The crash that had all lanes blocked is working now on the right shoulder, 75-85 northbound, just below I-20 exit 247. So top of the rakes leaving University Avenue up to John Lewis Freedom Parkway. Same story on the southbound side of the connector, just tapping those brakes southbound as you approach Georgia Tech and the Buckhead intersection of Peachtree, Roswell Road, and West Paces Ferry back to normal now that the traffic signals are working again. How are we working on I-20, Ashley Frasca?
It's been pretty well behaved out of the western suburbs. Carroll County and Douglas County along I-20 eastbound, a smooth ride into the west side of I-285, and no delays yet through the construction zone. I don't even know if they've set up the road work yet. I-20 around Panola Road. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies for this afternoon, warming up to a high of 74. Few more pop-up showers later this evening, lows tonight in the mid-50s. Widespread rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder for tomorrow morning, then drying out tomorrow afternoon, high around 68. Colder air moving in on Sunday, even with the sunshine. Morning lows in the 30s, daytime highs in the low 50s.
Cloudy, 65 degrees right now in Woodstock. You're at 64 in Swanee, 66 in Decatur. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, friends. Happy Friday to you. Show chock full of breaking news today, both local, nationally, internationally. 30 minutes. We're going to go live to D.C. on what exactly is going on between the United States and Iran. 1 hour from now, travel expert Peter Greenberg. We're going to talk to political analyst Bill Crane at 10:35. In-depth reaction to President Trump's visit to Rome, Georgia yesterday. We're going to check in on the Nancy Guthrie case. A lot of important local stories. One that sticks out is an agreement between the Marietta Police and ICE. We'll tell you all about that. But perhaps on a Friday, you need a little something to get you going. Deborah, once again, has tickets to see Bruce.
We actually have 2 pair of tickets to give away today. So NASCAR is this Sunday. No more NASCAR tickets.
Okay.
But we do have 2 pair of Bruce tickets.
Wow. All right. So we'll do those at 11:07 and 11:37. So check back if you do have to dip out. 2 chances to win tickets to see Bruce at State Farm Arena. Let's go to the breaking news that we covered yesterday morning on the show. The arrest of former Prince Andrew. President Trump was asked about the arrest on Air Force One yesterday.
I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. When I see that, it's a very sad thing.
Covering the story of the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is our good friend Peter Haralambous from ABC News. Peter, good morning. Thanks for your time. Happy Friday, brother.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to hear about those Bruce tickets, too.
Yeah, you are eligible. Since you are not a WSB radio employee, you have a chance to win those at 11:07.
I will call back later on then.
Tough day yesterday. It was former Prince Andrew's birthday. He was arrested. That's where we left the story yesterday when we got off the air at noon. Get us caught up to date on what's going on or what has gone on with former Prince Andrew over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, what a way to celebrate 166th birthday. This is really a crisis that has engulfed the British monarchy. The last time we've seen a royal arrested, that's in 1647 with King Charles I during the English Civil War. At this point, former Prince Andrew, has been released. He's been sent back home, and he's actively under investigation for a charge called misconduct in public office. While we've seen and heard a lot about these emails with Epstein that seem suspicious, or the allegations of sexual assault against Prince Andrew made by Virginia Giuffre, this investigation actually stems from a different matter. Andrew's time as a trade envoy for about a decade. There are some emails that we've reviewed in these files that suggest that at one point in 2010, Andrew shared with Epstein sensitive records relating to his role as a trade envoy about investment opportunities in Afghanistan and about development in the Far East. So that seems to be the focus of this investigation. It's a very serious charge at that. It's a kind of a unique charge to the UK, but it carries the possibility of life in prison.
In the meantime, the former prince is no longer in jail, right? He was released at some point yesterday.
He was released. He was sent back. He's living at a private residence at the King's Sandringham estate. He's been stripped of his royal titles since last year. And we did get to see that really remarkable image of him kind of being driven out, not much life in his face, really, the face of a man who looks like he lost everything, really.
Peter, there's stark differences between the legal system in the United Kingdom here in the United States, and I'm trying to get some clarification. I know every time we talk to a reporter in the United Kingdom, there are things they can't say as reporters that reporters in the United States can say. So I want to touch upon that, and also depending on how far these charges, these allegations were that led to the arrest of the former prince, is there any sort of statute of limitations in British law that we might have here in the United States? Do you know either of those answers?
Yeah, I mean, on one thing in terms of the difference between the British and the U.S. media, we can talk about this in a way, freely, openly naming the former prince in a way that those in Great Britain really cannot. There's this much kind of stronger presumption of innocence and kind of rules protecting the idea of kind of slandering someone if they haven't been convicted yet. Though with this specific charge, I'll note, this misconduct in public office charge, it is a wildly broad charge. It can really be brought against anyone who's deemed a public official, and it carries this massive penalty because there's no maximum set by Parliament. There's a 4-stage test that prosecutors will ultimately have to apply. The first 2 questions, this question about, whether or not this was a person in a kind of position of public trust, those seem resolved because Andrew was serving in this government role for about a decade. The big question, though, is whether or not, one, he did something inappropriate, and whether or not, using good judgment, he would have known that what he did was improper. It's kind of a very loosely defined thing, especially when you compare it to the U.S. justice system, where things are a lot more stringent. But prosecutors, at the end of the day, are going to have to make that critical charging decision, and then from there, it will be a pretty lengthy timeline if it were to go to trial.
I think that's worth highlighting. Arrested, not charged, is former Prince Andrew at this point. Peter Harlambous from ABC News joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. We're seeing a lot of accountability on the Epstein files across the pond. You think this might put pressure on the FBI, DOJ to, maybe start some investigations to United States citizens that have been mentioned in the files?
That's an optimistic way of looking at it, but unfortunately, I think in terms of accountability, we're going to see it much more abroad in places like the UK or elsewhere in Europe than in the United States. At this point, the Justice Department is treating this as if it's a closed matter, as if there's really not much left to prosecute in terms of the Epstein files, saying there's really no co-conspirators. To my understanding, the only potential ongoing investigation is that one that was launched at the behest of President Trump. That's in the Southern District of New York, where he asked prosecutors to look into Bill Clinton and Reid Hoffman. And it's unclear if that investigation is going anywhere, especially now that these documents are out there. So I will say it has kind of drawn more scrutiny for the United States and the Department of Justice now that people are seeing that it is possible to kind of pursue accountability after the fact, as other countries are successfully doing it.
Yeah, and doing it with ease, apparently. And I don't know if this might be an indication. We had that Les Wexner deposition in Ohio on Wednesday. Maybe that, that could lead down to some legal avenues for the DOJ to pursue. And there's still, we've been told that all the Epstein files have been released, but I'm still seeing reporting that there's still plenty of files that have not yet been released. So who knows what those files will hold.
Yeah, that's exactly right in terms of there are still millions of documents that were withheld. And in terms of the Wexner interview, it's worth a listen in terms of kind of seeing how how hard it is to actually pursue accountability outside of the formal justice system. Yes, they sit down billionaire Les Wexner for a deposition, but it doesn't really tell us much. Les Wexner is someone who gave Jeffrey Epstein power of attorney for about 2 decades of his life, someone who prosecutors say is responsible for the vast majority of Epstein's fortune, and someone who was stolen from by Epstein, hundreds of millions of dollars, yet he never reported them. There are these huge, outstanding questions about why this person never went to authorities, why he never spoke out publicly. But if you listen to that deposition yesterday, the way Leslie Wexner describes it, he never hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. They barely knew each other, according to Wexner, and that it was a purely business relationship, though there are photos in the Epstein files that suggest otherwise. So, yes, it's a bit of naming and shaming, but it's far from the kind of accountability we're seeing in the UK.
Yeah, unless, trying to paint himself as a victim in all of this, too, which kind of stood out. All right, Peter Harlambous, ABC. Peter, great stuff. Have a good weekend, my friend.
Have a lovely weekend.
There you go. I don't know. I saw on social media, Deborah, because the UK is holding former Prince Andrew accountable. And we heard reaction from the victim's family applauding this and saying what's going to happen in the United States. And left, right, and center, folks that want the Epstein files released and accountability on social media yesterday were like, all right, you're up now, Pam Bondi. Like, you've seen what the United Kingdom did on this fresh information that just came out 2 weeks ago. So we'll see that, but obviously still, and I posted on social media for the social, I don't know if you saw it, Deborah, the show pick today. It's from the
I've
Sun.
seen the picture. Yeah, I
tabloid.
saw it. It was everywhere yesterday.
Mountbatten sweating as he was leaving that jail
He saw
yesterday.
Oz. He doesn't want to go there.
Exactly. Or maybe he didn't see Oz. And, if he had seen Oz before he met Epstein, he wouldn't have done all the stuff he is accused of. I do want to get a reaction to barrister Andrew Eborn. We heard from him yesterday on the show, more from the United Kingdom on the arrest of former Prince Andrew.
Well, at first, I wouldn't say it's necessarily under containment. He certainly moved from what was a massive mansion, a 30-room mansion, Royal Lodge in Windsor, to what Andrew's calling a shoebox of a place. So there's a massive humiliation on that sort of side. But undoubtedly, yesterday saw a seismic shift from history. It's the first time in nearly 400 years that a senior royal was arrested in Britain. Andrew Mountbatten, he spent the day in custody, about 11 hours. He was being questioned, and by the evening he was released under investigation. What that means is that the investigation is still continuing, and the relevant contempt of court rules still apply, which means that basically anybody that says anything that might prejudice a fair trial could themselves be exposed to a potential fine and also imprisonment for up to 2 years. The fine itself, basically, it could be unlimited and so on and so forth, but the charge that Andrew faces is quite extraordinary. This thing about a public office and basically corruption in public office, if you like, it carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. And what happens there is they need to have a look and see all of the evidence, get that at a very, very high level, if you like, to sort of turn around and say, this is the threshold. But what the king has done, he's turned around and very wisely, he turned around and confirmed that nobody is above the law, including his own brother. And he wants the proper process to be carried out. So that's what we're going to see. The police at the moment are looking at different properties. They're assessing the evidence, and then they will make a decision as to whether or not they're going to charge.
Famed British barrister, a.k.a. lawyer, Andrew Eborn on that. Do you think, Deborah, again, there's nothing analogous that I can say, a similar arrest in the United States. We just don't have the royal family, so there's nothing. But we could all relate to the family dynamic. I have a brother, you have a brother. Vinny's got a sister. Longoria, shocking, spoiled only child. But he had some cousins. He was close with the cousins. Like, put yourself, you're Queen Deborah, and your brother is now former Prince Deborah's brother. I'm not going to say his name. He stabbed you in the face, so I don't want to. Like, do you think they're talking? Do you think the king and Andrew are talking at all right now?
I think how long this is going on, probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I only know from what I read in English tabloids or hear from the news, because I'd still have family over in England.
Yeah.
I don't think they were ever really close. And then when all this stuff kind of happened with him and Diana and Fergie and Andrew and everything, I don't think they've ever really been close.
Okay.
So I don't think they're like, let me help you out, bro. You know what I mean? Like there's
you got to do it in an accent if you're
I can't do accents, but like there's things that I've had to pick up my brother in strange neighborhoods in the middle of the night. I've called and even though he's tried to kill me multiple times, I don't think they have that close of a relationship. Again, I don't know.
Sure. I saw reporting yesterday that apparently Andrew was Queen Elizabeth's favorite kid. Like she loved him and protected him.
Was.
Maybe. I don't know. Again, this was reporting yesterday that she had protected him. And once she died, he kind of lost that umbrella of protection. I love my brother. If my brother's a better person than me, so he'd never be Prince Andrew. But if he was in that situation and I'm king, I mean, you do what King Charles did, but I'm still talking to him. I'm like, man, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Why are you still in the country, by the way? Shouldn't you be somewhere that there's no extradition?
If they were that close and he knew this was a thing, he wouldn't have made him move off the property because he would have been protected by the English law.
Yeah. So there's no analogy as far as a royal arrest, but I think the family dynamic of this is something worth thinking about. If that was your kid brother and he was accused of doing all this stuff, do you cut off ties? Do you talk back channels? Do they go? What was the sister?
Queen Anne or Princess Anne?
Yeah. Did they just talk through Anne?
You don't hear anything from Anne or Edward, do you?
Anyway, interesting stuff. All right, quick break. When we come back, we got some big local stories to talk about. And perhaps the biggest story of the day, what is going to happen between the United States and Iran? 9:35, we'll go live to D.C. for the latest. Right now, though, we must increase our trust in traffic. Let's go to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Good morning, Mike Shield.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Overall, pretty good on the roadways with it being Friday light, winter break, a lot of things going in your favor, but we do have delays like in DeKalb County where right lane roadwork setting up once again right on schedule. I-20 eastbound getting past Westlake Chapel Road, exit 68, working your way 3 miles to Panola Road, so some delays growing, not worth a wide way around it just yet, and delays remain on the west side perimeter with a right lane still blocked after a day. This time yesterday, we were watching a repair work underway after a large pothole formed on 285 southbound the outer loop to south of MLK Junior Drive, exit 9. Difference today, only one right lane is blocked, and it may last throughout the afternoon. Just be aware of that if you're leaving I-20 trying to get to the airport. This report is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Mike Schultz, 95.5 WSB.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
It's the Love Your Home Minute from TE Certified. Hey, it's Chris Chandler with Josh, the local owner of TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And you know him. That's him you see jumping out of the back of their trucks. Josh, something you've done recently to help you love your home.
We recently had the TE HVAC team replace our basement HVAC system with the Daikin Fit. We install a lot of HVAC brands, but the Daikin Fit is my absolute favorite. The system's about half the size of the old one, but it's 40% more efficient, and it's absolutely silent, which is super nice because this one was actually installed outside of our bedroom. It's true variable speed, which means it removes humidity, so as it runs, it actually takes humidity out of the house, and it costs us less money to operate. We install hundreds of systems in Atlanta, and this has been one of our customers' favorite. And so I had to get one in my home, and I absolutely love it.
All right, Josh, that's great. Thank you. I believe a Daikin Fit system from TE will help a lot of our listeners love their home more.
TE Certified, we love your home.
This is Andy Harris, president at Coosa Valley Credit Union, where we believe in the power of human connection. When you call us, you're not greeted by a machine, but by a real person who's here to listen and assist you. Coosa Valley Credit Union. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach your friendly live agent. Donation's super easy and your car can be picked up by tomorrow. Call now or go to carsforkids.org.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
My uncle's Maytag washer lasted over 37 years. His motto, buy once, cry once. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello. When I started A1 Garage Door Service, I thought about my uncle's Maytag. Most garage door springs get about 10,000 cycles or 3 to 5 years. Our Max Life springs last over 100,000 cycles. That's a minimum of 30 years. From repairs to upgrades, call A1 Garage Door Service today or schedule online at a1garage.com.
A1 from day one.
Beaver Direct Certified, providing the highest quality vehicles at the very best prices. Every vehicle undergoes rigorous reconditioning with the industry-leading 12-month, 12,000-mile certified warranty. Visit us at beavertoyotacumming.com and see why everyone loves Beaver Direct.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic, so I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything. And like you, I'm sick of career politicians. I'm running for governor to lead America in criminal deportations, to cut income taxes in half, freeze our insane property taxes, reform the system so that anyone who can work will work, and not just sit around binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos. I'll let law enforcement do their job. And if you're caught helping a child change their sex, you're going to jail. I'm Rick Jackson, and I'll get these done. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
From Rick Jackson to Rihanna, you get it all here on the Mark Arum Show, 925. Happy 38th birthday, Rihanna. This is Take a Bow. Coming up after the news at 9:30, we're going to go live to D.C. and preview what could be a huge, huge story, United States and Iran. One follow-up to the Prince Andrew Epstein file arrest, Deborah. Bill Gates has canceled an AI summit. And I'm assuming that he canceled it because he is all over them Epstein files.
Yeah, he canceled this AI summit that was supposed to be in India. Now, he actually traveled to India and he was set to do it, but he just kind of canceled at the last second. And the Bill Gates Foundation didn't really give any other reason, but everybody assumes it's because Gates is under this scrutiny, his relationship with Epstein. Supposedly, there's emails about Epstein setting up dates for Bill Gates. Mm-hmm. Bill's like, no, that never happened. I've never been to Epstein Island. But no more AI summit for Gates.
It's tough to feel sorry for a billionaire, but that is not a short flight to go to India from Seattle or wherever he's located.
He's not sitting in coach.
No, I understand. He's on his own jet. But here's my prediction, bold prediction. Bill Gates absolutely disappears from public view. Like Melinda, that's his ex-wife that runs the foundation. She's going to be in charge. Bill Gates is going to be like Kaiser Sose. He's gone. Think about that. I think he is one of the top 5 private landowners in the world. He's got the billions. He's
70 years old. He can quietly live out whatever years on his island.
His name is littered. The allegations. Again, nothing, he's not been charged or anything, but that's my prediction, that Bill Gates is a ghost. And I think this first cancellation of the AI summit, he founded Microsoft. He's fine. We're just never going to see him again. Poof, just like that. He was gone. Did you know he was in a barbershop quartet in Skokie, Illinois? Bill Gates was? Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, it's fake news. That's just that's from now
you know.
That's a line from Usual Suspects. Now you know. Bill Gates was not in a barbershop quartet in Skokie, Illinois. All right, news, weather, and traffic in 3. When we come back live to D.C., what, if anything, is going to happen between the United States and Iran? Live coverage on that. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum, at WSB Radio.
Are you worried about high blood pressure? Have you tried to lower your numbers with little success? You may be eligible for a clinical research study evaluating the impact of an investigational blood pressure procedure. If you are an adult and have high blood pressure or are taking medications to manage high blood pressure, you may qualify for this study, which is expected to last at least 4 years. Call 404-605-3118 and ask whether you may be eligible for the Spiral Gemini Pilot Study, located at the Piedmont Research Institute in Atlanta at 95 Collier Road, Suite 3010. That's 404-605-3118. Caution: hepatic denervation is limited by law to clinical investigation in all geographies. The generator and catheter used in the Gemini study for hepatic denervation are not approved for sale or use in the U.S. or any other country.
Are your floors looking tired, scratched, or just dated? You don't have to wait months for a beautiful new look. At Peach State Hardwood, you can start your flooring project in 1 week or less with expert installation, lifetime craftsmanship warranty, and an in-house team that handles everything, from moving your furniture to cleaning up after. A stress-free home refresh is closer than you think. Peach State Hardwood, beautiful floors, zero hassle, ready in a week. Schedule your free estimate today at peachstatehardwood.com.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and choose when you want to move. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the uncertainty of a traditional home sale and sell your home fast for all cash in as little as 21 days. For 30 years, Mark Spain Real Estate has been serving families just like yours and has helped over 72,000 satisfied clients. You can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. Good morning. I'm Cheryl Castro. News brought to you by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Our top story, the Supreme Court may issue a decision on President Trump's tariffs plan today. The case involves the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and whether it grants the president the authority to levy tariffs. And Trump previously said the Supreme Court tariff case is, quote, life or death for our country. Well, new legislation approved by State House lawmakers has safety in mind when police pull drivers over. The measure requires you to pull to the right shoulder of the roadway. State Rep and bill sponsor Marvin Lim says moving to the left shoulder is dangerous.
That's a passing lane where people are going quite fast. We also know that in general, left shoulder lanes are not going to be anywhere near as wide as right shoulder lanes.
The measure does not include specific penalties for violators. It now goes to the state Senate. And new this morning, a Taco Bell in Fairburn is heavily damaged after a car drives into the building. The driver crashes into the front of the business on Sonoya Road, taking out portions of a brick wall and a pair of windows. The driver is not injured and nobody was in the restaurant at the time. It's not clear how the accident happened or just how long the business will be closed. President Trump issues a new ultimatum for Iran, giving them 10 to 15 days to come to the negotiating table or face consequences.
Trump has already ordered a massive buildup of U.S. forces in the region. The USS Gerald Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, along with 4 destroyers armed with Tomahawk missiles, now on the way.
Mary Bruce reports Iran has its own warning telling the United Nations that it will respond decisively to any U.S. military action. WSB recall alert. Trader Joe's is recalling 2 types of fried rice because they could have glass inside.
Ajinomoto yakitori chicken with Japanese-style fried rice and Trader Joe's chicken fried rice with veggies, dark chicken meat, and eggs. They were made by Ajinomoto Foods in Portland, Oregon, which reports 4 consumer complaints but no injuries.
Deborah Rodriguez reports the products were sold nationwide, including here in Georgia. They have Best Buy dates of September 8th through November 17th of last year. A big new banner is flying at the Department of Justice.
This is a banner emblazoned with President Trump's face with the words, "Make America Safe Again." It's right outside the DOJ. There is no other documented example that we can find of something like this at the Department of Justice.
Jay O'Brien reports in response to questions about the banner. A DOJ spokesperson says, quote, "We are proud at this Department of Justice to celebrate 250 years of our great country and our historic work to make America safe again at President Trump's direction," end of quote. Evidence of a dinosaur that roamed the rivers of ancient Africa 95 million years ago has now been discovered.
Its fossil was found in the Sahara Desert. Experts say this species of Spinosaurus grew to about 40 feet long and weighed up to 7 tons. It was meant to eat a whole lot of fish, thanks to its interlocking teeth that could hold on to them.
Sophie Flay reports a study finds the Spinosaurus dinosaur with a tall, blade-like crest on its head and a large sail on its back lived in what is now Niger. It's 9:33. Time to check traffic and weather. Mike Shields now live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And Cheryl, repair work continues on the west side perimeter after a large pothole formed yesterday. 285 southbound, the outer loop just south of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9. A right lane is blocked, delays back to I-20. Also starting to have an impact on I-20 eastbound getting past Riverside Parkway to I-285. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies and warm for this afternoon. Highs in the mid-70s. A few more pop-up showers possible later on this evening. Scattered rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder for tomorrow morning. Lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow afternoon, breezy but drying out. Highs in the upper 60s. Cold on Sunday, even with the sunshine, with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s.
Partly cloudy, 66 degrees in Smyrna, also 66 in Lawrenceville and Duluth. More news at 10 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Eric Erickson.
If you want to take out the dominoes, you got to figure out which is the first domino.
The opinions expressed are his.
Where is the beginning of the domino chain to push to make all the other dominoes fall? That's Venezuela.
And that's what makes you listen.
This is one of the craziest stories I have read.
Eric Erickson.
There actually does need to be a law
Today,
here.
starting at noon.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Coming up next, we're going live to D.C., previewing what could be a very active weekend in the Mid-East. 2 minutes away on The Mark Arum Show.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and choose when you want to move. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
What if you could buy a flippable, two-sided mattress made with the finest materials that cost less than other luxury brands? This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory, and this is exactly what you'll find with our new Orthos line, available exclusively at OMF. We build these by hand using premium materials like wool and cotton. It's old-world craftsmanship with modern comfort, our most extraordinary sleep system. Built locally at a price other luxury brands just can't match. Visit the Original Mattress Factory and experience the Orthos line for yourself.
Winter certainly has had a little giddy up in its step recently. If you haven't noticed, your furnace has, your old furnace I'm talking about. Mark Arum from my pals at Reliable. An amazing offer right now from Reliable. Any size furnace, any size, $59.99 a month. Comfort as a service. Zero down, low monthly payments, all feature repairs, maintenance, even filters. A guaranteed no additional charge for life. Book an appointment for a convenient time right now on their website at reliableair.com. Click on the Book Now button or call or text 770-594-9969.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we are conquering the unconquerable. Our experts are leading the way with innovative regenerative medicines and biotherapeutics that can repair diseased, injured, or defective tissues and organs to help treat people with chronic medical conditions. We're making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Now is the time for Iran to join us on a path that will complete what we're doing. And if they join us, that'll be great. If they don't join us, that'll be great too. But it'll be a very different path.
President Trump, the chairman of the Board of Peace, making those comments on Iran. In the meantime, the entire planet on the edge of our seats when it comes to the United States and Iran. Joining us live from D.C., CBS News, Natalie Brand. Natalie, good morning. This has the possibility to be a massive, massive story. What do we know?
Well, we know that, the message from the administration and the president himself is that diplomacy is and remains the first option. But of course, we have the significant military buildup, and we know the administration, has said and that they are not afraid to take military action if a deal is not reached. We saw that last year with the strikes on Iran's nuclear site. So Iran is fully aware of that. On the diplomacy front, we do have some new CBS reporting from diplomatic sources speaking to CBS News Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan, saying that Iran has indicated, it might be willing to kind of float some investment opportunities as part of this larger nuclear deal. That kind of seems to be a direct appeal to the president himself. This diplomatic source telling Margaret that Iran indicated it might be willing to purchase U.S. aircraft or offer possible access to oil and gas fields. So, this really signals that they are pushing for these talks to continue, but we are in this key period of waiting. After indirect negotiations earlier this week, a U.S. official said that Iran was expected to come back with a more detailed proposal regarding, the nuclear negotiation and the gaps that remained in this negotiation in the next couple of weeks, and that kind of aligns with now the president saying we should know more in the next 10 or 15 days. That's really interesting, Natalie, because I was trying to think what negotiating power does Iran have, and I didn't even think of what they have been proposing, the economic, but that actually makes a lot of sense. You mentioned that 10 to 15 day deadline. Does that take off the table that we might strike Iran in some way, shape, or form this weekend? Well, it's unclear because, again, CBS reporting yesterday revealed that military planners have told the president that the U.S. military would be ready as early as this weekend. And if we think back to the strikes on those nuclear sites, the president had also floated just prior to that, well, we're giving 2 weeks. So it's really unclear, uncertain what could happen. But we also know that, the second aircraft carrier is the Gerald Ford is on its way to the region. And from what CBS News has learned, all the military assets that have been deployed to the Middle East are expected to be in place by, mid-March. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not we really do have this 2-week period for diplomacy to prevail. And I know another sticking point, obviously, the president has been really explicit that, in his mind, everything starts from a standpoint of no nuclear weapons, and that uranium enrichment has been kind of the sticking point in earlier negotiations. But now we have this added layer of ballistic missiles and Israel's push to make that part of this latest negotiation. Prime Minister Netanyahu was here at the White House not too long ago talking to President Trump. We've learned that Secretary of State Rubio is expected to go to Israel later this month to again talk about these talks with Iran. And there's a new push, again, according to this diplomatic source, to kind of uncouple those two issues, to have the nuclear talks just focus on the nuclear program and have, the ballistic missile talks and other issues that Israel is concerned with part of a second kind of track of negotiations.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying for weeks. The ballistic missile capability is Israel's greatest concern. Natalie Brand, CBS News, D.C. Natalie, hope you have a peaceful, relaxing weekend, my friend.
Thank you. You as well.
There you go. All right, so that's interesting, Deborah. I never even thought of that. Because, for the last couple of weeks, I'm saying Iran has zero leverage here. They have nothing. Nothing. But they know the president. Hey, we'll give you access to our oil fields. We will invest in something, right? We've seen every world leader come. We had a big announcement of the Japan investment and Korean investment. That's actually a pretty smart move from Iran. Facing this armada at their doorstep, and they came up with, hey, let's appeal to President Trump, the businessman. That is that actually makes me optimistic that we're not going to see military action this weekend. I didn't ask Natalie this question because this is CNN reporting. This is from 2 hours ago on CNN.com. The headline, you ready for this, Deborah? Britain blocking use of air bases Trump says would be needed for strikes on Iran, according to the media in the United Kingdom. So if we do go to full-fledged war with Iran, President Trump would need to use the air bases in the United Kingdom for whatever reason. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has blocked a request from U.S. President Donald Trump to allow U.S. forces to use UK air bases during any preemptive attack on Iran, saying it could break international law, according to multiple reports in British media citing government sources. According to the Times of London, which first reported the split over airbase access, Starmer has denied the use of RAF Fairford in England and Diego Garcia, the British overseas territory in the Indian Ocean, for any strike on Iran. The two bases have long served as crucial overseas U.S. military staging posts for operations far from home, with Diego Garcia a key airfield in the U.S. heavy bomber fleet. That to me makes more sense because we still have bases in Germany we could refuel, et cetera. But I was not familiar with Diego Garcia. No relation to Carmen. What's her name? Where in the world is Carmen Santiago? All right, that was way off. That's interesting. Again, this is CNN reporting from UK media, the Times of London, that the British Prime Minister says that President Trump could be breaking international law. Now, I don't know what Congress's role is in this, if they have one. It's kind of nebulous what presidents have the authority to do. Obviously, the president had those bombers take out the nuclear facilities, but past that, Does the president need congressional approval to do a full-on military strike against Iran? Concern, how does this impact you and I if we do go to war in Iran? The straight-up impact for us is probably going to be the price of oil. Obviously, Iran, an OPEC nation. Matt Egan on the future of oil prices with this dust-up.
Look, the oil market is certainly on edge right now. Investors are not freaking out, but this historic military buildup in the Middle East has certainly gotten the market's attention. See, oil prices this morning, they're roughly flat, but this comes after, as you mentioned, U.S. oil prices hitting 6-month highs above $66 a barrel during trading yesterday. And we saw a similar spike last June, during the very brief Iran-Israel war, where you can see on the left side of your screen here, back in June, there was a big increase, but it ended up being relatively temporary because supplies were not disrupted out of the Middle East. Now, as always, Kate, anytime we're talking about the Middle East and a potential military conflict, all the attention is on the Strait of Hormuz. That's this narrow waterway off the coast of Iran. It's the most critical choke point for oil on the planet. And if Iran somehow was able to block the flow of oil out of the Strait of Hormuz, which is something they've threatened to do before, you could really see oil prices go to the moon, because a lot of the Gulf oil producers, including Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, they really rely on the Strait of Hormuz to get oil out of the region. So how high could oil prices go? Well, the Center for Strategic and International Studies says that if Iranian oil shipments were disrupted, perhaps during a U.S. blockade, you could easily see oil prices go to $80 a barrel. But they could go even higher, to $90 a barrel if Gulf oil shipping was disrupted, again, perhaps through the Strait of Hormuz. $100 per barrel is possible if the U.S. and Israel were to attack Iranian oil facilities. And the worst case scenario, at least that they've looked at, is if Iran ended up attacking Gulf oil facilities. That could bring back $130 or even higher. A historic oil price spike, possibly surpassing what was seen 4 years ago after Russia invaded Ukraine. Of course, that would be a nightmare for consumers and businesses. It would also be a threat to the cost of living. Gas prices are still...
gas prices have been like the success story.
They have been. Lower than a year ago, much lower than a year ago, below $3 a gallon. But, Kate, they have started to creep higher just over the past month by about 11 cents. And, look, that can't be lost on the president. He's already underwater when it comes to the economy and the cost of living. And it's hard to see how a full-blown energy crisis would help that, nor would it help the economy.
Yeah, and Matt Egan on CNN this morning with the midterms too, right? You know, that President Trump has lowered the price of gasoline from the Biden administration. There's no doubt about it. You see it on the daily when you go fill up. What did Billy Bob say in Landman, Deborah?
About $60. Yeah, $60.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can handle $80 a barrel. Like, that won't kill us. But you get to that $100 a barrel thing, and then you start seeing gas going like $4.50. No politician in office wants that going into the midterms. So I'm pretty sure President Trump is cognizant of that. Maybe we won't strike Iranian oil fields. But as Matt Egan said, could Iran strike other oil facilities in the region just to cause havoc on the world economy? Very, very interesting. Oil right now, though, the market's open 17 minutes ago, down 8 cents a barrel, $66.35. I think Billy Bob said they like it like $75. The oil companies do. I think it was like $75 a barrel. So they're not loving life right now. Cooper is not loving life at $66 a barrel. Obviously, big implications if we do attack Iran and if Iran responds militarily. Satellite imaging shows they're prepping. Iran is prepping for an attack against them, fortifying their nuclear facilities, their military facilities. So we'll see. But we do have that 10 to 15-day negotiating window that President Trump mentioned yesterday. Speaking of President Trump, he was in North Georgia yesterday, and I totally missed on the purpose of his visit. I thought he was here for one political reason. Turns out it was actually another political reason. We'll discuss that in depth with political analyst Bill Crane, who joins us live at 10:35. When we come back, a big ice-related story here in Marietta. First, we got to check the ride around Marietta and Duluth and Stockbridge. Here's Mike Shields.
And looking for new trouble in Spaghetti Junction, Mark. Maybe making your way into Duluth. First, out of Doraville, you got to travel 285 east on the I-85 north, taking that ramp. Some delays forming there. Well, the ramp is passable, but maybe one lane blocked. We're going to continue to watch the GM cam for that. I am watching delays on the west side perimeter with a right lane still blocked after repair work done from yesterday's hole that formed. 285 southbound the outer loop to south of MLK Junior Drive, exit 9, slow 3 miles back at Hollowell Parkway. Also impacting I-20 eastbound, leaving Riverside Parkway, getting to I-285. This report is brought to you by SC250 Revolutionary South Carolina. The American Revolution was decided in South Carolina. SC250.com. Revolutionary South Carolina. Be part of it. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Get
over
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Because he's a man and he can get things done.
Yes. Eric Von Hessler.
This is something that the feminist will not deal with.
Today at 3.
I know. You don't care about anything. What do you care about? What is it that you care about?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Your kid goes to bed a size 8 and wakes up a size 10. That's not magic. That's expensive. Unless you shop at Academy Sports and Outdoors. They've got undefeatable prices on all the best brands in sports gear, like Nike, Easton, and Baseball Lifestyle 101. And on the off chance that you find a better price at a competitor, Academy will beat it by 5%. That's their best price guarantee, which kind of is magic. Academy, fun can't lose.
The Metro Atlanta commute is a constant challenge. No matter what time you hit the road and as the trip times rise, so do the chances you'll get hit by a distracted or speeding driver. Hey, it's Smiling Mark McKay for John Foy & Associates. I don't want to report on you being in a crash, but if I were in a wreck, I would only call John Foy. I trust him and you can too. Dignity, compassion, and respect are the hallmarks of their service. Been hit? Don't wait to make the call to the strong arm. 0 upfront costs. JohnFoy.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed, right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, we're barreling through 2026, but it's still early, and that means it's still a great time to get organized in your financial life. And here's the good news for folks listening out there. Hoffman Financial Group is here to help with that, aren't we?
Yeah, so we make it simple, right? And it goes back to saving people time. Don't worry about you having to work with us. We work for you. So if you were to reach out to us, we would start with something as simple as the portfolio x-ray. Simple as far as your time that you need to provide us some data points on, but we'll take the hours and we'll apply our expertise to generate a pretty comprehensive look at your financial life. Specifically, your risk profile, the fees in your portfolio, the performance over last year, 3 years, 5 years, the last 10 years. Against benchmarks. We'll also stress test it. Can we go back in time and say what would have happened to your portfolio during the Great Recession or the dot-com bubble that burst or the COVID correction? It'll give you an indication of how much your money is at risk. All of those components mixed into one simple 10 to 14 page report. We'll give you a copy of it. We'll walk you through it. And as I say, I have yet to see one that didn't have 2 or 3 golden nuggets, as I call them, of opportunity for you to contemplate possibly enhancing your financial future moving forward.
Make 2026 the year you take control of your financial life with this complimentary offer from Hoffman Financial Group. There's no cost for the portfolio x-ray, and the report is yours to keep. Call 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858 and online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Dave Baker here for Beaver Toyota of Cumming, voted the #1 Toyota dealership in Georgia. I've been driving a Toyota Tundra and I love it. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota is the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show. See him on the web at beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and choose when you want to move. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
I think they have the least amount of talent. They got some good teams, some good solid teams.
The combo you never knew you needed. You two and Charles Barkley, two of my favorite things ever. Happy 63rd birthday to the round mound of rebound. Part-time Atlanta resident, future guest, hopefully, the Mark Arum Show. 9:55 here on the broadcast. Coming up after the news at 10, we're going to talk to travel expert Peter Greenberg. Big ice-related story in Marietta, Deborah. What's going on there?
So the Marietta Police Department are now going to be working with ICE. They can make arrests over any immigration, and they can basically stop people, even if they're not seemingly breaking a law, and see, are you actually a citizen? Do you have your paperwork with you? And they're going to be allowed to do that, where most police officers can help out with things like that, but you can't actually stop people. Marietta is going to be able to stop and question people.
I read the story as cooperation between the federal ICE and Border Patrol and the Marietta Police, which I think I defer to the local police in Marietta, whether they think it's a good thing or not. I think, listen, the reason why I think the cooperation is good is, you got ICE agents coming into Marietta. That's not their hometown. They don't know the streets. They don't know the people. They don't know the vibe. But the Marietta police do. So I am actually optimistic that cooperation between local jurisdictions and ICE is the way to do it, so we don't have a repeat of Minneapolis. I think that's the smart way to do it. Again, I defer to, if you're a Marietta police officer, I think it's your call. Do you think that you should be coordinating, helping, lower tensions? Because it's your town. You know the city. You know what's going on near the big chicken, as Clark Howard would say. Speaking of Minneapolis, Tom Homan, the border czar this morning, asked on CNN about what's going on right now in Minneapolis.
Well, I never expected the politicians to call it great success to give President Trump a win. But bottom line, the streets of Minneapolis, we are working with an unprecedented number of sheriffs in the state that will call us before they release a public safety threat to the street. That's safer for the community, safer for the agents, safer for the alien. We have great relationships with the state. They honor detainers for anybody in the state prison system. And even in Minneapolis, Mayor Frey, we won't agree on much, but Minneapolis PD was actually responding after I met with the mayor to take down the illegal roadblocks put up by agitators. And all the law enforcement, every chief of police I met, every sheriff I met, promised to respond to public safety issues when ICE is out there doing an operation, they get surrounded by agitators and things get out of control. They all committed to responding. And after I met with them, that's exactly what they did, and they continue to do.
Border czar Tom Homan this morning. If you are a member of the local law enforcement, hit me up on Twitter or slide into my DMs on Instagram at Mark Arum. Do you think that cooperation between local agencies and the DHS ICE is a good or bad thing? I'd like to know your opinion on that. News, weather, and traffic in 95.5 WSB.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Squirrels squatting in your attic will keep coming back, and so will Breda. And Breda's proud to sponsor Scotts Leach, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Texting
privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out.
Mom, can we do pizza night tonight?
Not this week, sweetie. Payday's not until Friday.
Hey, we don't have to wait. We qualified for up to $750 before payday with Current.
$750? Before payday?
Yep, we set up an eligible payroll deposit and qualified for in advance. No hassle, no credit checks. And with their sign-up bonus, we got an extra $75.
Pizza night!
Need money before payday? Current has you covered with up to $750 in paycheck advances when you set up an eligible payroll deposit. And right now, get a $75 sign-up bonus. Current, the banking app that gives you more for your paycheck. Text LIFE to 323232. That's LIFE to 323232.
Paycheck advances offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Who doesn't want their plumbing, roofing, HVAC, you name it, job done right for the right price? I'm Dale with TrustDale.com. 2.5 million happy TrustDale customers can't be wrong. Book your next project to get my free $10,000 Make It Right guarantee only at TrustDale.com.
Flowers and chocolates are okay, but an insanely clean home from Zerorez Carpet Cleaning is sure to impress your loved one. Only Zerorez uses ZR water to clean your carpets and other surfaces without harsh chemicals. To make things sweeter, they leave zero residue behind, so your carpets stay cleaner longer, which means soft and fluffy carpets. Right now, take 20% off Zerorez standard cleaning services when you mention WSB or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. News this hour brought to you by TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. WSB's top local story. Georgia lawmakers are pushing legislation forward that would put guidelines around where you are supposed to go when you're getting pulled over by the police.
Drivers stopping in the middle of the road or pulling to the left shoulder on the interstate when police pull them over is a safety hazard, which is why State Representative Marvin Lim says his bill would require drivers to pull to the right shoulder.
We were inspired by the idea that by creating not just a law but consistency, that we would also create the clarity that would lead to safer practices.
The legislation doesn't include specific penalties for violators. The bill overwhelmingly clears the House and now awaits a vote in the Senate. At the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
70 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards is forecasting partly cloudy skies today. Going to be quite a bit warmer than we've seen in recent days, too, with highs in the 70s. Pop-up showers tonight. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Happening this hour, the nation's governors are at the White House meeting with President Trump. But the annual bipartisan meeting has been the source of controversy after Democratic governors Jared Polis of Colorado and Wes Moore of Maryland have not been given invitations.
The president will still meet with some governors. When asked if he had wanted to go, Governor Moore, the vice chairman of the Governors Association, told CBS,
"No, I'm good."
Linda Kenyon reports the White House initially only invited Republican governors. That move was later reversed, with Democratic governors, except for Polis and Moore, receiving invites. A former Douglas County judge accused of punching an Atlanta cop goes into the weekend with a legal weight lifted off her shoulders.
Christina Peterson breaks down in tears after she was acquitted of a misdemeanor obstruction charge. It takes a Fulton County jury less than an hour to reach the verdict after 2 days of testimony. Peterson represented herself at the trial. The incident happened in June of 2024 when Atlanta police responded to a disturbance outside the Red Martini restaurant and lounge on Peachtree Road. Peterson says she was trying to help a woman being attacked by a man at the club when a police officer also stepped in. The woman said Peterson didn't mean to hit the officer. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Heads up, burger lovers. The cost of ground beef isn't going down anytime soon.
The U.S. cattle herd has shrunk to its smallest in 75 years, but Americans still want their beef. Small supply, great demand, and analysts say prices at the meat counter will remain elevated perhaps until 2028.
Jim Ryan reports ranchers are reluctant to increase their herds because they're raking in their highest profits in decades. A key inflation gauge accelerated in December, a sign that many prices are still rising more quickly than most Americans would prefer, and it's faster than the Federal Reserve's target of 2% a year. The figures show that inflation remains elevated even as it has come down from a peak near 7% in 2022. A new report from Wallet Hub puts Atlanta among the top state capitals in the U.S. Atlanta ranks number 3 on on the list based on affordability, quality of life, and education. A gold medaling Douglasville resident is hoping to make some more history at the Winter Games. Olympic veterans Ilana Myers-Taylor and Kaylee Armbruster-Humphreys will be among the 6 U.S. athletes in the two-woman bobsledding event beginning today. Ilana Myers-Taylor of Douglasville has already won gold in the women's monobob, and Armbruster-Humphreys got bronze. It's 10:33. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. The Mark Arum Show is going to continue for you in less than 2 minutes. Let's check in now with the WSB 24-hour traffic center. And good morning to Miss Isabella Rodriguez.
Good morning. And right now we have an update for drivers in DeKalb County. We've got road work on I-20 eastbound just past Wesley Chapel Road. A right lane is blocked there, so expect a brief slowdown through that work zone. And on the Beaver Spring Connector southbound, there's trouble just past Arbor Drive. Road work is taking out a right lane and causing delays as you head towards Midtown. I'm Isabella Rodriguez, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies for this afternoon, warming up to a high of 74. Few more pop-up showers later this evening, lows tonight in the mid-50s. Widespread rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder for tomorrow morning, then drying out tomorrow afternoon, high around 68. Colder air moving in on Sunday, even with the sunshine. Morning lows in the 30s, daytime highs in the low 50s.
Right now it's 66 degrees in Conyers. It's 67 in Mableton and 70 in Midtown Atlanta at 10:04. More news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Friday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Whole family with us today. Deborah, executive producer of the program. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Down south, Vinny screens your calls. 30 minutes from now, political analyst Bill Crane's going to join us live, talking about President Trump's visit to North Georgia yesterday. We're going to go in depth on what's going on between the United States and Iran. We'll update the Guthrie case. We are coming back to breaking news, though. The Supreme Court has just ruled that President Trump's sweeping emergency tariffs are illegal. Let's go live to CNN. This is Paula Reed, Chief Legal Affairs Correspondent.
We are still going through this case, but this is something we have been waiting for. The court said that it would take up this case on an expedited basis. So they're deciding, even though it's a significant case now, because of course this has enormous implications. So as we go through this opinion now with our team, another outstanding question is what now happens to all that revenue that had been collected. This is something it really wasn't clear from the arguments what they would say about that, if they're going to lay out a plan. So we will continue to go through this, but this is an enormous decision and a rare loss for President Trump before this conservative court.
All right, massive breaking news there. So Jamie Dupree tweeted this out, and I didn't understand it. All it said was, held, IEEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. The judgment in number 24-1287 is vacated, and the case is remanded with instructions to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. The judgment in number 25-250 is affirmed. So Jamie tweeted out, I didn't know what it meant, but we just heard from Paula Reed. That is huge news. The Supreme Court rules that President Trump's sweeping emergency tariffs are illegal. We're going to get on the horn with legal analyst Ron Carlson and try to flush this out a little bit later on the show. But right now, joining us live and with a brand new intro on the Mark Arum Show, it's travel expert Peter Greenberg. You've made elite company, Peter. You have your own intro now on the Mark Arum Show, buddy.
I like it. I like it.
That's great job by Vinny Drip with Peter's new intro. Peter, as always, so good to talk to you. Let me just, because we just had the breaking tariff news, does that impact world travel for the United States? If we don't have to pay these tariffs, any travel repercussions to this Supreme Court decision?
You bet it does, because if those tariffs are now ruled illegal, it changes the supply chain for hotels, for cruise lines, for airlines, how they buy their supplies, equipment, their fuel, everything that might be having a tariff on it. Next thing you know, those prices go down. Hopefully that will be related to how much we pay for an airline ticket, hotel room, or a cruise ship berth.
Interesting. So the tariffs, you're very wise, Peter. But yeah, you think about, we've got a couple of big airplane manufacturers here in the metro area. The tariffs on aluminum, steel, parts, car parts, automotive, just driving, travel by car. With those tariffs now being negated by the Supreme Court, this is going to have a wide impact on travel.
Oh, you bet. Look, take a look at the hometown airline, Delta Airlines. They have to maintain a huge inventory of spare parts, replacement parts for their repair operation and maintenance. Most of those do not come from the United States. So all of a sudden, that's a benefit for them as well. So look, it's a win-win for consumers, assuming this kicks in and goes away.
All right. Again, if you're just joining us, the Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump's sweeping tariffs are illegal. That just dropped a couple of minutes ago. We'll continue to update this breaking news here. Peter, we're in a partial government shutdown. Maya and I flew to the Sarasota airport this weekend to visit my folks down in Siesta Key. And first things first, there was no delay. Sarasota airport's a little tiny airport, but there's no security delays. With this partial government shutdown, might we expect more delays to build the further it goes?
Well, let's go a little bit background here. The last time we had a government shutdown, it was during a very high period of travel, and it wasn't just the TSA, it was air traffic controllers as well. Nobody was getting paid. And even though they were working, a lot of them were calling in sick. In the case of the TSA now, it's a partial government shutdown. The TSA is not getting paid. Air traffic controllers are getting paid. But for the TSA, they got a partial paycheck this week, but if the shutdown continues, they get no paycheck next week. And that's when we're going to start seeing if people are going to start calling in sick, and if that's going to affect the amount of time you're going to spend going through security.
You'd be so proud of me this weekend, Peter. So over Christmas, I signed up for TSA PreCheck at Bradley International Airport in Hartford. They had just some guy in the lobby saying, "Hey, do you want PreCheck?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want PreCheck." So I signed up, did the thing, but it never popped in my Delta app. And then over the weekend, my wife figured out how to get it on there. So I had my first experience as an official TSA PreCheck person going through security at the Sarasota airport. But I was so nervous that because I'd never done it before, I forgot to take off my belt, and I set the alarm off anyway. I was such a rookie move by me.
Well, you know what? Remember, what TSA PreCheck means is you don't have to take out your laptop. You can still wear your shirt, your shoes. You can still wear a jacket. But what it doesn't mean is if you've got a belt that's a big metal belt, guess what? You got to take it off.
Got to take it off. And also related, they had a clear line there. And I was like, all right, let me go, because my flight was delayed. So I went out and got some lunch, and then I came back in. And I was like, well, the clear line is there's no line, and the TSA PreCheck line was long. So I walked up, and the guy's like, "You a clear member?" I'm like, "Yep." He goes, "Do you have the app?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, you need the app here because we don't have the biometric capabilities at the Sarasota airport," which I thought was interesting.
Well, you know what? Clear is a great idea when it works. In the smaller airports, it's sort of a little bit more of a manual operation. But if you got Clear, and by the way, Delta is one of the partners, so is United, it works every time.
Is there going to become a point where more people have Clear and PreCheck, and those lines get longer than just your standard TSA checkpoints?
Well, actually, if you really put it in perspective, the TSA has been playing catch-up in the world of biometrics, and they're doing a much better job of processing during TSA PreCheck, like you just went through, about reading your face, reading your eyes, and you're going to get through a little faster. They're saving about 30 to 45 seconds per passenger now by going to biometric just at TSA PreCheck. So that's all good news.
Finally, Peter, Friday flights now the cheapest as traditional travel booking wisdom dies. That's according to new data. Is that true?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm glad I asked.
Everybody has a favorite day that they think is the best day to book travel. In the old days, it used to be midnight on Tuesday. Then it became midnight on Sunday. Right now, what you should do is buy your tickets on a good site like Google Flights. They'll monitor the fares, and if they go down, you'll get an alert. You can always refund the ticket, get a credit, apply that to a lower fare. That's how you do it.
That's how it's done. Peter, where are you and where are you headed, brother?
Today I'm in Chicago, about to give a speech. Tomorrow at the Travel and Adventure Show, and then we're off to Monaco, where I'll talk to you probably next week. And then from Monaco, we're going to the place that you've never been, our next 1 hour special for PBS, and that's the Kingdom of Lesotho.
Ooh, the kingdom of Lesotho. By the way, Peter, tell the folks your Instagram handle because I follow you on Instagram, and you just drop great little videos and nuggets. You're a must follow on the gram. What's your handle on Instagram?
I believe it's at Peter S. Greenberg.
Yeah, I believe that is anywhere on social media at Peter S. Greenberg. Peter, as always, thanks for your time, and thanks for the breaking reaction to the tariff news and how it could impact travel. Really appreciate your time, my friend.
You got it, Mark.
There you go. Travel expert Peter Greenberg. And I because of the breaking news, we didn't really highlight Vinny's new Peter Greenberg song, which is pretty phenomenal. Same song. Good stuff, Vinny. Good stuff. If you weren't slacking for the first hour and 13 minutes of the show, I might give you star of the show. You're running errands for Longoria and Justin Ovi. All right, let me get back to the breaking news. So Chief Justice Roberts wrote the opinion striking down the Trump tariffs. The vote was 6-3. I'm trying to see who dissented. Obviously, Chief Justice Roberts dissented. Yeah, so this is big news. I want to reach out to Eric Erickson, too, to try to get him on this breaking news because Eric had been very critical of the tariffs. All right, so Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh dissented. They were the no votes. Alito, Thomas, and Kavanaugh voted that the Trump tariffs were legal, but 6 justices, the 3 liberals and 3 other conservatives, voted that they were illegal. So Chief Justice Roberts wrote the opinion striking down the Trump tariffs, which we had been waiting for a long time, right? And President Trump's the sweeping tariffs, that has been first and foremost of his second administration is, this is the tariff administration bringing in billions of dollars and it's going to help manufacturing. The question now is what happens? What happens now that these are illegal? We had reciprocal tariff deals set up with other nations. We had the broad tariffs on every nation. We had stories that if the tariffs were struck down, that we as consumers might now get rebates, right? So if you were, name a random company, Deborah, a United States company.
A United States.
Yeah.
WeatherTech.
WeatherTech. Let's say WeatherTech. They've been importing their WeatherTech stuff partially from China. They've been having to pay tariffs on the floor mats, right? Those are the floor mat folk or the truck bed liners. So they've been paying tariffs, and then they charge us more for the bed liners and the floor mats. There had been talk now that if these tariffs were ruled illegal by the Supreme Court, which they just were at a 6-3 vote, that the government now has to refund that tariff money. And then will WeatherTech now say, oh, Deborah, you ordered the Wisconsin Badger floor mats. Go Badgers. Or the Packers. Go Packers. Now, you might get a rebate. I mean, this is, I can't tell you how huge this is. Not only for the tariffs that have been collected, but the tariffs that President Trump wanted going forward. Huge, huge, huge stuff. Again, breaking news, 6-3 court decision from the Supreme Court that President Trump's tariffs are illegal. The 3 no votes, Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh. Let's see if we can dip into CNN, get some more reaction on the Supreme Court decision.
Altogether, because some tariffs, like the ones on steel and aluminum and copper, they relied on different emergency powers. So those are likely not impacted. Those are likely not changing based on this decision. Now, the White House has said that they have backup plans already in the works. This decision was not a shock. Investors, economists, many people on Wall Street had been anticipating that the Supreme Court was going to strike this down. And so the White House has had weeks, if not months, to try to prepare other tariff authorities that they can rely on to try to impose tariffs once again. Now, those other authorities, they come with more restrictions in terms of the size and scope and the timing of tariffs. But a lot of economists, they do suspect that the overall tariff rate, it may not change all that much.
All right, so that's Matt Egan. So apparently the Trump administration was preparing, in case they lost this Supreme Court decision, to have backup plans or a backup plan to, more surgically use the tariffs. But again, breaking news you heard live here on WSB. The Supreme Court strikes down President Trump tariff in a 6-3 vote. Chief Justice Roberts wrote for the majority. I'm quoting him now. We claim no special competence in matters of economics or foreign affairs. We claim only, as we must, the limited role assigned to us by Article 3 of the Constitution. Fulfilling that role, we hold that IEEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. Wow. Major breaking news, more reaction. We've reached out to our legal analysts, want to try to get Eric Erickson on to talk about this and what that means moving forward. And again, what about those billions of tariff dollars that have already been collected? Might you and I get some of that money back? Huge, huge breaking news. The Supreme Court strikes down President Trump's tariffs. We'll continue our coverage after we check traffic at 10:18. Let's say hello and good morning to Isabel Rodriguez.
Good morning, and right now we have a heads up for drivers heading into Midtown. You'll run into some construction on the Buford Spring Connector southbound just past Armour Drive. The right lane is blocked, so expect a brief slowdown. And we're still watching a right lane blocked on 285 southbound, the outer loop just past MLK Jr. Drive. Crews are finishing up repair work from yesterday, and it's slowing your ride down towards Cascade Road. This report is sponsored by Echo Park Speedway, home of the Auto Trader 400 weekend. Experience the thrill of NASCAR when the Cup Series returns to Echo Park Speedway February 20th through the 22nd for the Auto Trader 400 weekend. Tickets are on sale now at echoparkspeedway.com. I'm Isabella Rodriguez, 95.5 WSB.
We've all been there.
Bumper to bumper all the way back before.
Counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Crash knocks out 4 left lanes, including the express lane.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
3 right lanes shut down.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
Avoid the area by taking Buford Highway as an alternate route.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
We went from there's, a slight chill in the air to, dang, it's cold. In a hurry. You might not have noticed, but I bet your ancient furnace did. Hey, it's Mark Arum back for my pals at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing offer, friends. Get any size furnace, just $59.99 a month. $59.99 a month. Brand new furnace for you and your chilly household. Over 250,000 homeowners have taken advantage of the comfort as a service. 0 down, low monthly payments, all future repairs, maintenance, even filters, no additional charge for life. This is an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Reliable offers fast furnace repairs with 100% satisfaction guarantee, 24/7 service, and next day installation, or they pay you $500. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Book Now button or call or text 770-594-9969.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Mom, can we get snacks? Unless chips are on sale for $3.99, we're in a snack drought, buddy.
Hey, remember Current? They can get us up to $750 before payday once we qualify.
Wait, $750 of our money now?
Yep, and they're even offering an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Set up an eligible payroll deposit and see if we qualify for an advance. No hassle, no credit checks.
Gummy worms, here we come.
Current has your back with up to $750 in paycheck advances once you qualify. And right now, get an extra $75 bonus when you set up an eligible payroll deposit. Join the millions who count on Current when it matters most. Text LOUD to 323232 now. That's LOUD to 323232. LOUD to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FineCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
It's the spectacular return of Bruce Springsteen and the legendary E Street Band. Land of Hope and Dreams American Tour. Live at State Farm Arena, Saturday, May 2nd. Get tickets this Friday at 12 p.m. at Ticketmaster.com. An unforgettable night with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. For more, visit BruceSpringsteen.net.
Are your floors looking tired, scratched, or just dated? You don't have to wait months for a beautiful new look. At Peach State Hardwood, you can start your flooring project in 1 week or less with expert installation, lifetime craftsmanship warranty, and an in-house team that handles everything, from moving your furniture to cleaning up after. A stress-free home refresh is closer than you think. Peach State Hardwood, beautiful floors, zero hassle, ready in a week. Schedule your free estimate today at peachstatehardwood.com.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. it can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Georgia has a special election, and there's one Republican you need to know about. Republican Brian Stover.
Who?
Republican Brian Stover. Brian Stover is the pro-Trump Republican in the race.
Brian Stover is the pro-Trump Republican in the race?
Yes, Brian Stover is the pro-Trump Republican. Stover founded a successful waste management business. Now he employs over 100 people. Like Trump, Stover's a businessman, not a politician. Stover is going to help President Trump take out the trash. He'll stand up for ICE, keep men out of girls' sports, and fight to bring down the rising costs.
Sounds like I'll be voting for pro-Trump Republican Brian Stover.
Christian, conservative, pro-Trump Republican, and trash destroyer, Brian Stover for Congress.
I'm Brian Stover, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Brian Stover for Congress.
1024 on the Mark Arum Show. Continue our coverage of the breaking news that just popped on WSB Radio. The Supreme Court rules that President Trump's sweeping emergency tariffs are illegal. We've been paying tariffs for a while, a lot of them concerning food and beverage. Joining us live on the Mark Arum Show, it is food industry analyst Phil Lempert. Phil, good morning. Thanks for jumping on this breaking news.
Good morning, Mark. And this is a very important story for the food industry and every consumer that goes to a supermarket.
Give me the biggest items that we might see some tariff relief now.
Well, we don't know yet because Trump has said that he's still going to go to Congress and try to get the tariffs passed. But what we do know that in the pipeline, we've seen supermarkets, we've seen manufacturers really holding back, passing on a lot of the tariffs. Now, what's been expected is probably in the next month and a half, we were going to see price increases again. However, I don't think that that's going to happen. The big looming question is whether or not we're going to have to refund these tariffs to the companies. There's been a lot of companies, Toyota, Costco, Revlon, who have had other companies, suing the government saying they want the tariffs refunded to them. So if, in fact, we have to have refunds given to these companies, prices will go up again.
Final quick question, Phil. We got about 30 seconds here. I would just imagine in the retail sector, companies are not likely to drop prices if they've already been getting paid for a certain product at a certain price. Do you think we'll see eventually any price relief at supermarkets, say?
No. Mark, you're 100% correct. Prices are not going to go down. There's a lot of influences here, not just tariffs, but climate change has really affected, the price of chocolate, the price of coffee, price of bananas. So we've got climate change, we've got labor increased costs, as well as the tariffs.
Phil Lempert, folks want to find you on social media or website, Phil?
Yeah, supermarketguru.com.
You are the guru. Phil, thanks for your time jumping on the breaking news, my friend.
Thank you, Mark. Anytime.
All right. Let's get some price relief on coffee. Dag-nabbit. All right, we're going to continue our team coverage of the breaking news. Political analyst Bill Crane reacts to the Supreme Court decision next on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, folks, it's Scott Slade with another great tip from my friends at Myland, Atlanta's local experts for home loans. So many people have credit card balances they don't pay off every month, which can make the first part of the year more stressful than it should be. The guys at Myland say a great product to use to reduce the amount you pay is a home equity line of credit, or HELOC. This allows you to use the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit card debt without touching your first mortgage. HELOCs are typically easier and faster to close than a full mortgage, so you can expect to get cash much faster. Whether you want to pay off debts or handle large expenses, HELOCs could be a great tool to use. To find out if one is right for you, call MyLend at 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online at mylend.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. And please tell them I sent you. NMLS Georgia Residential Mortgage Licensee 148769, located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLend is an equal housing lender.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Access to affordable credit helps me pay my employees, but I don't really need it.
Inflation is killing me. But who cares? Big retailers are making record profits. That's why we support the Durbin Marshall credit card bill.
See? Banks and credit unions help small businesses make payroll. This bill would cut the vital resources they need.
While increasing megastore profits. They deserve it, don't they?
Tell Congress, stop the Durbin Marshall money grab for corporate megastores.
Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Flowers and chocolates are okay, but an insanely clean home from Zerorez Carpet Cleaning is sure to impress your loved one. Only Zerorez uses ZR water to clean your carpets and other surfaces without harsh chemicals. To make things sweeter, they leave zero residue behind, so your carpets stay cleaner longer, which means soft and fluffy carpets. Right now, take 20% off Zerorez standard cleaning services when you mention WSB or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and choose when you want to move. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Right now, 16-ounce packages of 80% lean Kroger brand ground beef for only $4.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 10:30, I'm Veronica Waters. The news this half hour is brought to you by Dr. Roof. WSB's top story is breaking news this hour. The U.S. Supreme Court slaps down the Trump tariffs. Our live in-depth team coverage begins with a special report from CBS News.
CBS News special report. The Supreme Court has ruled President Trump's tariffs are illegal. In a 6-3 decision, the court says the president did not have the authority to enact them under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford.
This is the most significant U.S. Supreme loss for a U.S. president, I think, in modern history. It is invalidating what is the cornerstone of President Trump's economic policy, ruling that he does not have authority under this federal law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, to levy these sweeping tariffs.
Justice Neil Gorsuch had expressed concerns during oral arguments in November.
Congress, as a practical matter, can't get this power back once it's handed it over to the president. It's a one-way ratchet toward the gradual but continual accretion of power in the executive branch and away from the people's elected representatives.
Again, the Supreme Court has struck down Trump's tariffs. CBS News special report. I'm Michael Wallace.
Other top stories we're following this half hour. The Georgia House overwhelmingly approves a bill requiring drivers to pull to the right shoulder of the roadway if a police officer is pulling them over. Public Safety Committee Chair Representative Clint Crow is a former police officer and says this is a good bill.
I think it just increases the safety not only for the officers, but for the drivers that are being stopped as well, getting them farther off the road.
The measure now goes to the state Senate. Speaking of driving, a Taco Bell in Fairburn is damaged after a car slams right into it.
Bricks, broken glass, and other materials strewn about the sidewalk outside and the floor inside the restaurant on Sonoya Road just south of I-85. A white sedan crashing through a wall and front window, causing considerable damage to the building and the vehicle. Fairburn fire crews stabilized the impacted area to ensure the building was safe. There are no injuries and no word on what caused the driver to crash. It's not clear when the restaurant will be able to reopen. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
The Department of Veterans Affairs walks back a so-called interim rule pertaining to disabled veterans. It would have determined how much a veteran could get on their monthly disability payments by calculating how well they function on current medication, not based on the impairment itself. Well, the VA is backtracked after a huge backlash from veterans afraid they would get cuts in their payments. The proposed rule also went against 3 court rulings. A big new banner is flying at the Department of Justice.
This is a banner emblazoned with President Trump's face with the words, "Make America Safe Again." It's right outside the DOJ. There is no other documented example that we can find of something like this at the Department of Justice.
Jay O'Brien reports in response to questions about the banner, a DOJ spokesperson says, quote, "We are proud at this Department of Justice to celebrate 250 years of our great country and our historic work to make America safe again at President Trump's direction." A WSB recall alert to tell you about. Trader Joe's is recalling 2 types of fried rice because they could have glass inside.
Ajinomoto yakitori chicken with Japanese-style fried rice and Trader Joe's chicken fried rice with veggies, dark chicken meat, and eggs. They were made by Ajinomoto Foods in Portland, Oregon, which reports 4 consumer complaints but no injuries.
Deborah Rodriguez tells us the products were sold nationwide and in Canada. They've got Best Buy dates of September 8th through November 17th of 2025, but the retailer says some may still have them in their freezer. So take a look. It's 10:33. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Don't go away. The Mark Arum Show is going to be back in less than 2 minutes. Right now, live team coverage of traffic and weather begins with Isabella Rodriguez.
That's right. We have an update for drivers heading out of Duluth into Norcross. Your ride is slow, but it's still moving. You'll be on and off those brakes starting around Pleasant Hill Road, exit 104, and that slowdown stays with you down to 285. And on I-20 eastbound, road work just past Wesley Chapel Road has a right lane blocked, slowing you down as you make your way out towards Stonecrest. I'm Isabella Rodriguez, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies and warm for this afternoon. Highs in the mid-70s. A few more pop-up showers possible later on this evening. Scattered rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder for tomorrow morning. Lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow afternoon, breezy but drying out. Highs in the upper 60s. Cold on Sunday, even with the sunshine, with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s.
It's 66 degrees in Lawrenceville, 69 in East Point, and 70 in Midtown Atlanta at 10:34. More news coming up at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
It's Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, hoping with Paws Atlanta to find a home for our WSB Dog of the Month, Pam. 7-month-old pitty mix, medium size, does well with kids. We'd love to find her a new home. Meet Pam at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Findlay Roofing, pays the adoption fees. WSBRadio.com/dog.
A major defeat for the president. I think you can put that right up there with some of the most significant Supreme Court losses by a U.S. president.
That's CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford. The breaking news: Supreme Court says no to the blanket Trump tariffs. The political impact. Political analyst Bill Crane live in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there. It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Ever tried to hide stuff and you end up putting it next to some stuff you tried to hide last year? You might be out of room. That's an easy fix. Simply schedule a free design consultation today with a certified master artisan designer at artisancustomclosets.com and get organized.
10:37 on this breaking news Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show. If you're just joining us, 6-3 Supreme Court decision deciding that President Trump's tariffs are illegal. Getting some more clarification from the Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts. He said, quote, against the backdrop of clear and limited delegations, the government reads it at IEEPA to give president power to unilaterally impose unbound tariffs and change them at will. That view would represent transformative expansion of the president's authority over tariff policy. It is also telling that in IEEPA's half century of existence, no president has invoked the statute to impose any tariffs, let alone tariffs of this magnitude and scope. That lack of historical precedent, coupled with the breadth of authority that the president now claims, suggests the tariffs extend beyond the president's legitimate reach, quoting the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts there. The market's reacting to the tariff news. Everything's in the green right now. Everything is up. I don't know what they were doing before, but let's get the political reaction now to that breaking news from the Supreme Court. Joining us live, as he does every Friday at this time, beloved political analyst Bill Crane. Bill, good morning, brother.
Good morning, sir. Yeah, this is big news, and not in a good way necessarily for the president. The next question is, will the illegal tariffs have to be refunded? Costco has sued the United States government for $90 billion with a B in tariffs that it's paid for importing fees, and all those countries and a lot of our allies that are not really happy with this, will they, as this has been ruled illegal, will they retroactively try to get that money back?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think, this might actually be good news for the president. And I'm going to tell you why, Bill.
Sure.
It's, inflation, the economy.
It'll drop prices.
Affordability. Yes. Like a lot of the affordability issues have been tariff driven. Now, the tariffs go away. We go to the 2026 midterm, and you're now paying $5.50 for a pound of ground beef. You're now paying £6 for a pound of coffee. Things get more affordable. That might help the president and Republicans when it comes to the midterm. So this actually might be a political win at the end of the day.
I'm sure that they will flip the messaging and he'll now claim victory on this, but it's a big deal. I believe the last estimate I've seen, the U.S. government was collecting about $33 billion a month in tariffs. So, and that they have been in place since, April last year? If they have to be coughed back up, that's going to be problematic. But, yeah, they definitely in a very short term we'll start seeing prices go down on and pretty much anything that crosses the U.S. border being imported or exported. And I know that the Wall Street, the market will respond favorably because this will lower their costs, both of raw materials and finished goods going out.
Bill, the president got the news while speaking at the governor's breakfast. Asked about it, he called the decision a disgrace. He told those gathered that he has a backup plan. Do you think that the West Wing thought this day might be coming and they might have a backup to the tariff plan?
Well, if I were Chief Justice John Roberts, I might have placed a call to the White House a day or two before, because these decisions don't get written in a day, and given them the heads up. With a 6-3, and I haven't looked at the vote. I'm assuming it's 3 of the progressives, and I don't know, or 2 of the 2 progressives, but I don't know who the 4 conservatives are that broke this way. Though I think this is consistent. This was a massive extension of executive power, and tariffs are a tax, and generally speaking, land with Congress. To declare a global emergency and place tariffs on more than 100 countries was a significant executive branch attempt to increase the power and authority of the executive branch, and the Supreme Court effectively said, nope.
Bill, that tariff revenue was tied into, in an indescript way, to the big, beautiful bill, right? We're going to get more money coming in to the federal coffers because of tariffs, and that was part of the reason why the big, beautiful bill passed. Now, without that tariff revenue, what does that do to the big, beautiful bill?
They'll have to basically they don't have to balance a budget, unlike state legislatures and city councils and counties, but they'll have to get back together because that will be some major revenue holes to plug. But the other thing is, on an international level and foreign policy, the president has used these tariffs and the threat of these tariffs to negotiate other deals with countries, including our closest neighbors, allies, Mexico and Canada, and it would seem that he just lost that lever.
Bill, Justices Amy Coney Barrett, Neil Gorsuch joined with Roberts and the 3 liberal justices in the majority, for your information. Thomas Alito and Kavanaugh dissented. So 6-3, 3 conservative judges sided with the liberals on this vote. I had initially before this breaking news, I wanted to talk to you about President Trump's visit to Rome, Georgia yesterday. And I mistakenly assumed this was just to cement his preferred candidate in the 14th special election to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene. But this audio I'm about to play, I think this was the real reason why he came to North Georgia yesterday.
An incredible leader and a friend of mine for a long time. And I just want to let you know, a lot of people running. This man has my complete and total endorsement. It's not like, oh, gee, let me think about it. Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. He's been an incredible politician. He was a really great football player, but he has just been solid as a rock, and he loves this state so much.
That was very strong, double down endorsement on Burt Jones, and it seems to me that might have been the real reason he came to Rome, Georgia yesterday.
Well, initially the White House said he was going to come and talk about economic policy and job creation and all the wonderful things the Trump administration has done for the economy. But you knew when he was coming here that he was also going to touch on other things like the Georgia 2020 elections, like the governor's race in 2020, and significantly doubled down on his endorsement of Burt Jones, and also Clay Fuller, the candidate who ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene 2 years ago, was one of her primary opponents who he now is endorsing. And you'll remember when Marjorie Taylor Greene started to break from the president, he said he was going to primary her. So we don't know how long ago that decision was made, but that is now a field of 17 candidates, Republicans and Democrats. But he had to get his shots in, and he insinuated before he got here and when he got here that the criminal action may be forthcoming on those, what was his word, yesterday, crooked elections in Fulton County, and at a prior night appearance somewhere else, that he might need to fix Atlanta by sending in federal troops, National Guard, as well as ICE agents to clean up the city. If they would just ask him, he would send them tomorrow.
I mean, that's typical stuff, right? That's typical stuff.
Yeah, no, it's not atypical, but this is a president, as we know, who often says outlandish things, but not infrequently follows up with actions on those outlandish statements.
Back to the doubling down on the Burt Jones endorsement, because he endorsed him early in the governor's race. But that was before Action Jackson. Gary Jackson got into the race, allegedly donated $1 million to Trump campaigns or super PACs. And there was a question among the political world here in the Peach State that maybe President Trump might ease off that Burt Jones endorsement, but he didn't yesterday. He is fully on the Jones.
He didn't yesterday, and he didn't really attack any of the other candidates in the race. So most everybody else in that field, there's now 7 other announced Republicans, 4 that most people would recognize the names of at this point, sort of breathed a sigh of relief, because his standard style would be to endorse and then to tear into the other candidates in the field. He did not do that.
Interesting. So, but the early polling we have shows Jackson ahead of Burt Jones. Do you think the strong re-endorsement yesterday of Burt Jones might help the poll numbers for Burt Jones going forward?
This far out, polling is a lot of reaction to name ID, and in the case of the Jackson numbers, is the advertising campaign that he's launched. That's been, I know that folks at CMG are smiling. Radio and TV, it's been very aggressive and hard and fast-paced. If that's not sustained, those numbers will soften. I think it has changed the landscape of the race, and definitely there will be a runoff. Whether Burt Jones climbs back into the first position or not is a little difficult to say, not knowing what things are going to happen on the ground. But clearly, he much more closely hitched his wagon to the president, to Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones's campaign, and so the fortunes of the president in the next several months will have a lot to do with how the Jones campaign fares.
Bill, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for your time. I hope you get to at least unplug and relax a little bit this weekend.
Take care, brother.
All right, there you go. Political analyst Bill Crane jumping on the breaking news. If you're just joining us, 6-3 vote from the Supreme Court that said President Trump's sweeping tariffs are illegal. When we come back, we'll update that developing story, and we're going to get you caught up to date on the search for Nancy Guthrie. Right now, though, At 10:47, we got to check the Friday morning ride around town. Any hot spots, Isabella Rodriguez?
We actually do have a hot spot in Fulton County. We're watching a crash on 75 southbound right before 10th Street exit 250. It's blocking 2 left lanes right now, so expect some slowdowns as you make your way into Midtown. But once you get past that area, the rest of Midtown is looking pretty well past North Avenue, exit 249, right by Georgia Tech. It's moving well with all lanes open as you make your way into downtown. I'm Isabella Rodriguez, 95.5 WSB.
He's asking you questions.
Hey, you know what? What's eating you up?
He's asking more questions.
What, are you empty? Soulless?
And he's offering nutritional advice.
Pica, I think, is the thing where you eat like...
Oh, yeah, chalk and...
ashes,
clay.
Eric Von Hassler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, you've talked for years about the importance of having a financial plan in place because it gives us that roadmap for the journey of retirement. That helps us navigate the ups and the downs, when life doesn't go to script. But hey, when can we ever count on life to go according to script?
Yeah, it never does, but we can script it out for you financially. And this is a pretty robust offer that we would present to you today. The first step is you call us or you go to unleashyourmoney.com and click that portfolio x-ray button or the 401k x-ray. That'll allow us to do about a 10 to 14 page report. We give it to you. It assesses exactly what's included in your financial life, all of your investments. From there, if you want us to take step 2 for you, again, completely complimentary, free of charge, we will build you an income plan to replace your paycheck in retirement. That income plan also includes tax strategies, which are extremely important for people in today's environment. Then if you want us to take the final step, we can fold all of that into a full financial plan and map it out for the rest of your life or until age 100. All 3 of those offers, completely free of charge, completely complimentary. I would start with that portfolio x-ray. It'll take us a few hours to generate the report. We do all that behind the scenes. We give it to you in a half an hour, 45-minute meeting. Very valuable information for you to have on your ready and take home with you.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group today, 770-580-2024. That's 770-580-2024 or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
I've had clients tell me at other firms I felt like just a case number. At John Foyne Associates, you're treated with dignity, compassion, and respect every time. Because you didn't choose to be in this situation, but you can choose how you're treated while you're going through it.
Coming up from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, a Delta classical concert featuring Sibelius' Fifth Symphony, and a free festival celebrating Persian culture, February 26th and 28th at Symphony Hall. Tickets are at aso.org.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
No hyperbole. My life has changed since I signed up with Incogni. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Incogni.com. Went to the website, signed up, and then within a week, 7 days, I all of a sudden stopped getting spam phone calls to my cell phone. I used to get 20 or 25 a day, not a single spam phone call since I signed up with Incogni. Your data is important. I want you to protect it. Incogni takes care of you online, scours the internet, and removes your name from people searches and all sort of malicious sites that want to get your data, use your data, and maybe scam or spam you. Take your personal data back with Incogni. INCOGNI is how it's spelled. And get 60% off the regular price when you use my name, Arum, at incogni.com/Arum. That's 60% off when you use my name, Arum, at incogni.com/Arum. And then watch them clear the web of a lot of your information quickly and continually.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
10:53 on a breaking news Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show. If you're just joining us, 6-3, the Supreme Court says no. President Trump's sweeping tariffs are not legal. We'll get reaction from the White House after the news at 11. I do want to take this time, though, a pause in the breaking news coverage to update the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Covering the story from News Nation and joining us live on the Mark Arum Show, it's Nancy Liu. Nancy, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Mark. And it's hard to believe, but this is day 20 since Nancy Guthrie was reported missing. And it's still a mystery. Like, what happened? Where is she? And it's making a lot of people wonder, is this case going cold?
And I mean, there seem to be new developments on the investigative side of this. We had the camera video from the doorbell. We had the DNA from the glove. There was talk yesterday that maybe Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker could be tracked. Do we have any idea where the investigation is headed right now?
Well, the Pima County Sheriff's Department, they are insisting that this investigation is not cold because tips keep pouring in. There have been over 40,000 calls and tips, and it takes time for them to vet them, for them to follow through. And there was a lot of high hope, though, when the release of that video happened. Like, why hasn't someone recognized that man, the masked man with a gun, the way he walked, the way he moved? So tips did come in through that, but even though there are hundreds of investigators working this case, it takes time to go through every single tip. And, yesterday there was some, spotlight on Mexico south of the border. And even though the FBI is saying there's no reason at this point to believe that Nancy Guthrie has been taken south of the border or that there may be any kind of cartel involvement, there's a lot of suspicion since, Tucson is about an hour away from the border. But at this point, the sheriff and the FBI is saying there's no reason to believe that there's any kind of Mexican tie that maybe Nancy Guthrie is there. But back here in Tucson, the investigation is definitely ongoing. However, Mark, we haven't seen any active law enforcement activity either at the house or even anywhere else in Tucson in over 24 hours. So the hope is, behind the scenes, this genetic genealogy thread is, going places. As you know, it was key in the investigation of Brian Kohberger. And so considering that case took 47 days between the murders and the arrest of Koberger.
Interesting.
In this case, it's been 20 days.
Final quick question for you, Nancy. I got a break for news, but are we writing off the ransom notes and requests, demands as fake at this point?
It certainly seems like law enforcement is not putting as much weight into those notes. Are these just scammers trying to get money out of this situation? You know that one man in California was arrested for trying to allegedly scam the family. So it doesn't seem like those letters and emails are getting as much weight or attention as they did early on.
Nancy Liu, News Nation. Nancy, appreciate your time. Have a good weekend, my friend.
Thank you.
Any developments on the Guthrie case, you will hear him live throughout the weekend here on 95.5 WSB. When we come back, reaction from the White House to the big breaking news. The Supreme Court, in a vote of 6-3, rules that President Trump's sweeping tariffs are illegal. We'll continue our team coverage of this breaking news next on The Mark Arum Show.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm, under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cybersecurity must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through March 22nd, switch to Comcast Business and get started with 300 megabit internet plus Security Edge for $74 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Or ask how to lock in your rate for 5 years on a qualifying internet bundle and get a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. For a limited time only. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top story this hour. Big news out of Washington. A decisive KO to the sweeping Trump tariffs comes from the nation's highest court. We've got live in-depth team coverage.
CBS News special report. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court has struck down President Trump's tariffs, dealing a huge blow to his economic agenda. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
The court now, in essence, is aligning itself with public opinion. 63% of Americans oppose these tariffs.
During oral arguments in November, Chief Justice John Roberts had questioned Trump's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose the tariffs.
The exercise of the power is to impose tariffs, right? And the statute doesn't use the word tariffs.
Justice Sonia Sotomayor had also raised concerns.
It's a congressional power, not a presidential power to tax. And you want to say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are. They're generating money from American citizens, revenue.
2 of President Trump's own appointees, Justices Amy Coney Barrett and Neil Gorsuch, sided with the majority in ruling the tariffs are illegal. CBS News special report. I'm Michael Wallace.
It's 71 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards is forecasting partly cloudy skies and highs in the mid-70s today. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Continuing our live in-depth team coverage of the big decision from the Supreme Court, U.S. Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock, who is the top Democrat on the Senate Finance Subcommittee overseeing tariffs, is saying today this ruling is welcome relief for families struggling with higher prices as a direct result of this president's policies. His quote goes on to say, "I hope that instead of pursuing other avenues to impose these expensive taxes on Americans, the president centers the people and works to make life more affordable." In this opinion, the Supreme Court striking down most of these tariffs. Correspondent Steve Portnoy has got more from Washington. What about refunds?
The 6-3 ruling invalidates the sweeping reciprocal tariffs the president has imposed on imports from all over the globe. The Yale Budget Lab says the government has collected upwards of $140 billion in those duties through last December. In his dissenting opinion, Trump-appointed Justice Brett Kavanaugh warns of serious practical consequences for the U.S. Treasury, including the need to refund what's been paid.
So there is the possibility that some businesses might get some money back, but as for you and I, the consumer, there's a little to no chance of any refunds. Georgia lawmakers move legislation forward to put guidelines around where to go when you're getting pulled over by the police.
Drivers stopping in the middle of the road or pulling to the left shoulder on the interstate when police pull them over is a safety hazard, which is why State Representative Marvin Lim says his bill would require drivers to pull to the right shoulder.
We were inspired by the idea that by creating not just a law but consistency, that we would also create the clarity that would lead to safer practices.
The legislation doesn't include specific penalties for violators. The bill overwhelmingly clears the House and now awaits a vote in the Senate. At the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Turns out a man who said he tried fighting back against armed robbers actually shot himself. Atlanta police responding to Ormwood Avenue last night talked to a man who said he'd been the victim of an attempted robbery in Southeast Atlanta. He said one of the four guys pulled a gun and he tried to push it away. The weapon went off, striking him in the hand. Well, this morning, APD has given us the update. The victim gave a false statement and the gunshot was self-inflicted. No word yet how. It's 11:03. The live team coverage of traffic and weather begins. And don't forget, the Mark Arum Show is coming right back your way in just 2 minutes. First, let's check on those roads. Good morning to Alex Williams live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good morning, Veronica. And some good news heading into Midtown. Earlier crash, 75 southbound, right at the exit ramp to 17th, 10th, 14th Street. That has cleared out of the roadway, so the delays from Northside Drive have improved. 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side. Might be some trouble just south of Hollowell Parkway. Yeah, DOT says it's in the right lane. That's why you're slow as you leave South Cobb Drive. Once you get south of I-20, there is right lane construction passing Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit number 9. And on I-75-85 northbound, if you're coming out from the airport into downtown, you're just tapping that brake pedal from University Avenue up to Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies for this afternoon, warming up to a high of 74. Few more pop-up showers later this evening, lows tonight in the mid-50s. Widespread rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder for tomorrow morning, then drying out tomorrow afternoon, high around 68. Colder air moving in on Sunday, even with the sunshine. Morning lows in the 30s, daytime highs in the low 50s.
Right now, it is 68 degrees in Tucker. It's 67 in Alpharetta and 70 in Midtown Atlanta at 11:05. More news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
No, I run this town to be near you.
11:05, no such thing as a no news Friday in this world. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Breaking news out the wazoo. First and foremost, about an hour ago, the Supreme Court dropped a bombshell ruling against President Trump's sweeping tariffs. 6-3 was the vote in the Supreme Court. What does that mean moving forward? We'll continue our team coverage of the breaking news in just a second. But we have some tickets to give away, Deborah. Our first pair of tickets to see whom?
Pair of tickets to see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band at State Farm Arena coming up May 2nd.
And they're on sale now. Like today?
They go on sale at noon today.
At noon, right as we get off the air. All right, Vinny Drip. Longoria's been making you do errands all day, so I'm going to take it easy on you. Let's do the seventh caller. Seventh caller to 404-872-0750. Caller number 7 to 404-872-0750 wins our first pair of tickets to see Bruce State Farm Arena, May 2nd, I believe. And for all my friends listening, do not text me. I do not have Bruce tickets to give away. Graham Carroll's like, yeah, I want some Bruce. I'm like, well, you better
Go talk to Amanda
You
about
better
that.
buy him, Bruce. You better buy him. They go on sale at noon. All right, updating the breaking news. Again, major defeat at the Supreme Court for President Trump. The court has ruled 6-3 against the president's rights to unilaterally impose sweeping tariffs. CBS News White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe says Mr. Trump has argued vigorously to keep the tariffs in place.
The president has said in recent weeks that were this to happen and the Supreme Court does not uphold his tariffs, quote, we're screwed. It would take many years to figure out what number we're talking about and even who, when, and where to pay back. The Trump administration's collected at least $130 billion in tariff revenue, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports out in recent days.
Now, I want some clarification. So, again, I'm not a legal expert. They ruled these sweeping tariffs were illegal. Does that mean all of the tariffs have been illegal? Are some still legal? Are some not? I just need clarification on that. But obviously, President Trump has quoted previously saying he was screwed if this didn't happen. When he got word, he called it a disgrace and said that they do have a backup plan. Let's go to the White House. Kevin Liptak with White House reaction to the breaking news from the Supreme Court.
When this ruling came down, as we were showing, the president was up on the state floor of the White House meeting with governors. We're told that he was informed of the decision, and he said in that meeting that it was, quote, a disgrace. That's from two people familiar with the president's remarks. He also said that he had a backup plan, so suggesting that this is not the end of the road when it comes to his tariff regime. And certainly the president, in a lot of ways, had been expecting this decision. He was just in Georgia yesterday bemoaning the fact that it was taking so long to come down. He said he had been waiting for weeks and weeks to see what was happening. You know, he had been warning for quite some time that a ruling like this would be extraordinarily damaging.
CNN's Kevin Liptak moments ago at the White House with reaction to the Supreme Court news.
When he's doing all of these items across foreign policy that don't necessarily have anything to do with trade or with reducing the American trade deficit, he relied on these tariffs and relied on this authority to put them in place. So in addition to the questions that it raises about how the president will continue going about trying to strike some of these trade deals, I think it also raises a lot of questions about what leverage the president will rely on to conduct the remainder of his foreign policy, because this was really sort of the structure and the scaffolding around which the president was trying to accomplish so many things around the globe.
All right, so a lot of things to dissect there. And again, this is still breaking news, still developing. But so we've had these trade deals, right, Deborah? We see world leader after world leader come to the White House over the last 13 months and strike these trade deals. South Korea, Japan, the European Union. So we have these trade deals in place based on the tariffs that President Trump has levied. So I don't have the numbers handy, but let's say there's a 15% reciprocal tariff now between the United States and South Korea. I don't know if that's a fact. I'm just using it as an example. If President Trump cannot levy a 15% tariff on goods from South Korea, do we now not get tariffed from South Korea at 15%? Right? If we agree to these mutual 15% tariffs, but now it's zero tariff on South Korean goods, does South Korea keep that 15% tariff? Or do they say, okay, now we're back to zero? With Canada, with Mexico, right? We used to have free trade with them. What's going on with the tariffs when it comes to steel and aluminum? Again, those aren't the broad global tariffs, but those are, I mean, we still need more clarification on this. I am not the man to give you clarification on this, but I do have a lot of questions. What is going to happen with those trade deals? Like China, remember the threats? 140% tariffs on China. What do we do now? Because China was tariffing our stuff too.
Weren't companies also moving factories here to avoid some of those tariffs?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Does that prevent them from? I mean, still a lot of unanswered questions there. Yeah, it's taking. I should have been prepared for this because we knew this decision was coming. We didn't know which way it was going to go. Trying to think what other major economic impacts this could have now that the tariffs are gone. And Kevin made a point, President Trump has been using these tariffs as a negotiating tool to get what he wants from other countries. And now he doesn't have that gun in his holster anymore, so to speak. So I need clarification. What happens to reciprocal tariffs? What happens to the trade deals we've already signed with other nations? Are those immune? If South Korea, again, let's just say, I don't know what it is, 15% coming, 15% going. If we already have a trade deal, does that tariff remain? Because South Korea agreed to it. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll do 15-15, fist bump. Boom. Is that considered a legal or illegal tariff? Ton of unanswered questions. Will we get refunds? Costco sued the government for $90 billion. Will Clark Howard be getting a fat check for all the Costco shopping he's done and the tariffs he's paid on that? What's going to happen to the big, beautiful bill whose revenue was dependent on these billions of dollars of tariffs coming in? What is this going to do to the price of groceries? We heard from the food industry analyst Phil Lempert. I initially thought, all right, well, ground beef's going to be cheaper now. Coffee's going to be cheaper now. And he's like, retailers aren't going to drop prices really. Certainly not right away. Ton of important unanswered questions. All right, we'll continue to monitor the situation there. Joining us from ABC News, Stephen Portnoy. Stephen, the news has been so fast and furious, I even forgot about the so-called controversial White House ballroom construction, the demolishment of the East Wing and the construction of the Trump ballroom. But it is back in the news today, my friend. How come?
It certainly is. Look, the president has received the approval that is customary when it comes to the construction of federal buildings here in Washington, D.C. How did he do it? Well, he turned to the Commission on Fine Arts. What is the Commission of Fine Arts? It is an executive branch agency that reviews designs and other plans for federal construction here in D.C. How did he obtain the necessary approval so swiftly? Well, he handpicked all 7 members of the commission. They all took office within the last month. Donald Trump fired the Biden appointees to this commission, and yesterday they took the unexpected step of granting final approval to the ballroom project. Not even conditional approval, but final approval. And just to illustrate, Mark, how rare this is for the Commission on Fine Arts to move so swiftly, I want to point out an example from last decade. You may remember in 2014, there was a series of high-profile security breaches at the White House, fence jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
Where, in fact, in one circumstance, a man jumped the fence, ran across the North Lawn, and actually made it inside the executive mansion. This was an extraordinary breach of security, a real failure on the part of the Secret Service. In response to it, what they decided was that there ought to be a taller fence. Pretty sensible solution. Would you believe that it took nearly 2 years for the design of that security change to be approved by the Commission of Fine Arts, which alone took 9 months to review it, and the commissioners at the time made several comments on the design of the fence just to make it taller. So for the commission, the same body, to so swiftly approve the construction of a ballroom without even formal design plans being drawn up, it's still in the sort of notional phase. There were some new renderings that were made public as part of all this, is really extraordinary. And one other thing. During the meeting yesterday, the secretary of the commission, a staffer of the agency, noted that the commission had received public comment on the ballroom. 99% of that public comment, he said, was negative. And as he put it yesterday, quote, they were concerned about the illegal demolition of the East Wing without permits or oversight, inappropriate scale that will dwarf the White House itself, the violation of historic preservation principles, a lack of transparency in funding and contracting, and a fundamental miscarriage of democratic principles was cited in these public comments. The commission, nevertheless, approved this thing unanimously, I should say nearly unanimously, because one of the commissioners is an architect who was initially brought on to work on the project. He's no longer really working on it. He essentially was sidelined, but he recused himself from the vote yesterday as a function of his participation in the design. 6-0 with one abstention was the vote. I should also tell you, Mark, that there is a pending lawsuit. We're awaiting a ruling on this ballroom from a federal district court judge here in Washington, D.C., who expressed great skepticism as he held a hearing on it a month ago. He described the funding mechanism as a Rube Goldberg contraption meant to evade congressional oversight. And when asked how the president has the power to do this, he said to the government lawyer, "Come on, be serious." It'll be very interesting to see how that judge rules. We've been waiting for a month since that hearing for his decision.
Stephen, in the meantime, has construction on the ballroom stopped during this, waiting for the approval, or has it been ongoing?
Well, the plan has been for the above-ground work to really get underway this spring. Sometime in April was the best estimate. You should also understand that construction has been, or would have been, if it wasn't for the lawsuit, hampered by the weather here. Tremendous snow, which is just now finally being melted away by some pretty significant rain today. That, of course, has made any work difficult here in D.C., ice and all that. But nevertheless, the construction remains, according to the White House, on schedule. Of course, the big question is, will a federal judge act to halt it? If he does, you can be sure the administration will swiftly appeal.
In the meantime, final question for you, Stephen. The White House is sans East Room right now. Does that kind of put the squeeze on what folks can do in the White House now that, an entire wing is off limits?
Well, the East Wing is gone. The East Room stands. The fact is that tours are continuing, and they've made accommodations for people to sort of traverse rather than the grand entrance of the East Wing, which was historic as part of the way people would come in to the mansion for public tours. That's now through this sort of temporary corridor they've built with wood planks and temporary glass. The functions continue in the East Room, and the whole idea of it here is that the president wants a grand ballroom to be built so that he can hold larger functions. Because when there are state dinners, oftentimes what happens is they build a large temporary tent on the South Lawn, and the president says the United States deserves something better. Now, that's a fine argument, and certainly a fine argument. But the question is whether he should have gone to Congress to get authorization. And that's really what this lawsuit is about, because there's a federal law dating back more than 100 years that says that no public building should be built on federal land in Washington without express authority of Congress. The idea is the president is not the owner of the White House. It is merely a temporary tenant, and it's the people, through their elected representatives in Congress, who control it.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News. Stephen, great stuff as always. Thanks for your time.
You bet.
11:18 on the Mark Arum Show. When we come back after a quick break and a check of traffic, more reaction to the breaking news. Supreme Court ruling this morning, 623, that President Trump's sweeping tariffs are illegal. Time to check that Friday morning ride around town. We say hello and good morning to Mr. Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. And good news, West Side Perimeter crash. It was in the right lane, 285 southbound, the outer loop below just before I-20, I should say. That has cleared. Once you get south or below I-20, there is that right lane construction passing Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. And a crash in Gwinnett County, Highway 316, or Ronald Reagan Parkway westbound between Oak Road and Bethesda Church Road. Left lane blocked there. Tow trucks on scene, so hopefully it'll clear up soon. Traffic brought to you by SuperSure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get SuperSure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but SuperSure. Coming soon. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks,
A decisive KO to the sweeping Trump tariffs comes from the nation's highest court.
we've got it covered.
The big looming question is whether or not we're going to have to refund these tariffs to the companies.
Tune in often for the latest.
It is invalidating what is the cornerstone of President Trump's economic policy.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Time for a personal question. Is your main drain clogged? Oh, I feel for you, friends. Don't stress. Get it cleared for just $89 guaranteed from my friends at Reliable, a company you can trust. Plus, every cleaning comes with a free sewer camera inspection, no hidden fees or extra charges for after hours or weekends. Same-day service is available. Clean out your main drain. Book an appointment at reliableair.com. Click on the Book Now button or call or text 770-594-9969.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, we're barreling through 2026, but it's still early, and that means it's still a great time to get organized in your financial life. And here's the good news for folks listening out there. Hoffman Financial Group is here to help with that, aren't we?
Yeah, so we make it simple, right? And it goes back to saving people time. Don't worry about you having to work with us. We work for you. So if you were to reach out to us, we would start with something as simple as the portfolio x-ray. Simple as far as your time that you need to provide us some data points on, but we'll take the hours and we'll apply our expertise to generate a pretty comprehensive look at your financial life. Specifically, your risk profile, the fees in your portfolio, the performance over last year, 3 years, 5 years, the last 10 years against benchmarks. We'll also stress test it. Can we go back in time and say what would have happened to your portfolio during the Great Recession or the dot-com bubble that burst or the COVID correction? It'll give you an indication of how much your money is at risk. All of those components mixed into one simple 10 to 14 page report. We'll give you a copy of it. We'll walk you through it. And as I say, I have yet to see one that didn't have 2 or 3 golden nuggets, as I call them, of opportunity for you to contemplate possibly enhancing your financial future moving forward.
Make 2026 the year you take control of your financial life with this complimentary offer from Hoffman Financial Group. There's no cost for the portfolio x-ray, and the report is yours to keep. Call 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858 and online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Georgia has a special election, and there's one Republican you need to know about. Republican Brian Stover.
Who?
Republican Brian Stover. Brian Stover is the pro-Trump Republican in the race.
Brian Stover is the pro-Trump Republican in the race?
Yes, Brian Stover is the pro-Trump Republican. Stover founded a successful waste management business. Now he employs over 100 people. Like Trump, Stover's a businessman, not a politician. Stover is going to help President Trump take out the trash. He'll stand up for ICE, keep men out of girls' sports, and fight to bring down the rising costs.
Sounds like I'll be voting for pro-Trump Republican Brian Stover.
Christian, conservative, pro-Trump Republican, and trash destroyer, Brian Stover for Congress.
I'm Brian Stover, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Brian Stover for Congress.
Spring cleaning is creeping up, so get a head start by calling Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. You'd be surprised by the amount of dust, dander, and allergens sitting in your duct system and circulating in your home. Zerorez is the only company to trust to get your home insanely clean. Take 20% off standard cleaning services when you mention WSB or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. That's 20% off all cleaning services. Just mention WSB. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
11:24 on the Mark Arum Show. Continue our coverage of the breaking news from the Supreme Court. President Trump's sweeping emergency tariffs are illegal. A vote 6-3 from the Supreme Court. Let's get reaction from... CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum reacting to the breaking news.
Chief Justice Roberts writes the majority opinion and concludes that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act cannot be used by the president to impose tariffs because it does not mention tariffs as one of the powers it grants the president. It allows him or her to regulate imports and exports, but that's not the same thing. And of course, tariffs is a tax and therefore a congressional prerogative.
CBS legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum there. Again, I know people are painting this as a loss for President Trump. And maybe so. But I think it's a win for Republicans when it comes to the midterm elections. The markets are shooting up right now. Affordability should not be a big issue without tariffs moving into the midterms. I think broad picture, end of the day, that the Supreme Court decision knocking down these tariffs is actually good news for Republicans going into the 2026 midterms. The economy starts getting rosier. We got bad GDP numbers today. Maybe those start turning around. Maybe the Fed decides, all right, let's cut interest rates. Now we don't have to deal with tariff uncertainty. So I think there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions. Bad news for President Trump and Republicans. I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. I think this could be really good news for the Republicans coming up to the 2026 midterms. We'll continue our team coverage of the breaking news in the Supreme Court throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. When we come back, though, Deborah's got more Bruce tickets to give away and another huge story. What's going to happen between the U.S. and Iran? We'll check in with Bloomberg News. By the way, congrats to Mike in Athens. He won our first pair of tickets to see Bruce Springsteen at State Farm Arena. Your next chance to win coming up next on The Mark Arum Show.
Santana, Oneness Tour 2026. The power, the energy. Come celebrate your favorite hits from Woodstock to Supernatural and beyond. With very special guest, the Doobie Brothers. July 9th, Ameris Bank Amphitheater. On sale now at livenation.com. Santana and Doobie Brothers, Oneness Tour 2026.
All right, if you find yourself, you're one of those people trapped in those horrible timeshares, and it's almost and feels almost impossible to get out of this. Now, that is why the only timeshare exit company that I endorse, they've been with us over a decade. I love this family-owned business, is LoneStarTransfer.com. They treat you with respect. They tell you the truth. They create a customized exit plan for your specific situation. And then lastly, their team will execute it all start to finish with professionalism, and they guarantee results. No more stress. You get peace of mind. Call my friends at Lone Star Transfer today. Now, call now. It's 833-594-0075 and get your free case review. That's 833-594-0075, or check them out on the web at LoneStarTransfer.com. Tell them your friend Sean Hannity sent you.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Mom, can we do pizza night tonight? Not this week, sweetie. Payday's not until Friday.
Hey, we don't have to wait. We qualified for up to $750 before payday with Current.
$750? Before payday?
Yep, we set up an eligible payroll deposit and qualified for in advance. No hassle, no credit checks. And with their sign-up bonus, we got an extra $75.
Pizza night!
Need money before payday? Current has you covered with up to $750 in paycheck advances when you set up an eligible payroll deposit. And right now, get a $75 sign-up bonus. Current, the banking app that gives you more for your paycheck. Text LIFE to 323232. That's LIFE to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and choose when you want to move. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this half hour is brought to you by Rocco's European Garage. WSB's top story, we are getting some reaction from Georgia lawmakers, legal eagles, and businesses on the impact of a major ruling today from the nation's highest court.
CBS News special report. The Supreme Court has ruled President Trump's tariffs are illegal. The 6-3 decision says the Constitution clearly gives Congress the power to impose taxes, which include tariffs, not the president. CBS's Major Garrett.
The Trump administration told the Supreme Court it had almost unlimited powers to impose tariffs, not just as an economic matter, but as a diplomatic cudgel. And the court said that view would represent a transformational expansion of the president's authority over tariff policy.
CBS's Jolene Kent is hearing from happy small business owners.
Emily Lay, a small business owner in Sarasota, Florida, tells me she's thrilled. She's relieved. It gives us clarity. She runs a very successful stationery and planner business. Another business owner, Beth Beneke in Zumbrata, Minnesota, she runs Busy Baby Map, and she said major relief.
Sources tell CBS News President Trump called today's ruling a disgrace during a meeting with governors at the White House. He said he has a backup plan. CBS News Special Report. I'm Michael Wallace.
Now, our lawmakers in Washington are among those reacting. Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter says he's outraged by the decision. He's out with a statement saying the Supreme Court just undercut the president's ability to defend American workers. Carter's calling this judicial overreach. On the other side of the aisle, U.S. Senator Raphael Reverend Warnock says it's an opportunity for the president to work on affordability. His statement says this ruling is welcome relief for families who are struggling with higher prices as a direct result of this president's policies. Warnock is the top Democrat on the Senate Finance Subcommittee, which oversees tariffs. Keep tuned to WSB for continuing updates on this decision and the White House's response. A former Cobb County church leader pleads guilty to child sex crimes in Cherokee County and is sentenced to 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole. 34-year-old Marcus Turner of Agworth admits to 9 sex crimes involving a teenager. Detectives found in May of 2023, Turner invited a middle school boy to join a new church youth group, and within months, prosecutors say Turner was spending time alone with the child, exchanging text messages, and he committed repeated acts of sexual abuse. Nissan issues a recall for more than 600,000 of its compact crossover SUVs, the Rogue. 2023 to 2025 models of the Rogue are at risk of engine failure due to increased oil temperature. And 2024 to 25 Rogues have an electronic throttle body system which could break. Now, Nissan says it's not aware of any accidents involving this, but still, owners are supposed to go to Nissan dealerships. They will be doing free repairs. President Trump issues a new ultimatum for Iran, giving them 10 to 15 days to come to the negotiating table or face consequences.
Trump has already ordered a massive buildup of U.S. forces in the region. The USS Gerald Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, along with 4 destroyers armed with Tomahawk missiles, now on the way.
Mary Bruce reports Iran has its own warning, telling the United Nations that it will respond decisively to any U.S. military action. It's now 11:33, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. First to the WSB 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams is watching your midday drive.
Hey, Veronica, watching a new slow zone in Gwinnett County, 85 southbound out of Duluth, approaching Beaver Ruin Road, exit 102. I'll see if any lanes are blocked with anything happening there. Elsewhere in Gwinnett, earlier crash cleared on Ronald Reagan Parkway westbound before you get to Bethesda Church Road, so those delays have started to improve. And a little slow into Midtown, downtown, 75-85 southbound from 17th Street, passing Georgia Tech. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies and warm for this afternoon. Highs in the mid-70s. A few more pop-up showers possible later on this evening. Scattered rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder for tomorrow morning. Lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow afternoon, breezy but drying out. Highs in the upper 60s. Cold on Sunday, even with the sunshine, with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s.
Right now, it is 74 degrees in Conyers. It's 69 in Ackworth and 73 in Midtown Atlanta at 11:34. More news coming up at noon. And breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you. Get over
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Because he's a man and he can get things done.
Yes. Eric Von Hessler.
This is something that the feminist will not deal with.
Today at 3.
I know. You don't care about anything. What do you care about? What is it that you care about?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
And to think I have to be in the United States Supreme Court for many, many months waiting for a decision on tariffs. Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble right now.
Ironically, that was President Trump yesterday in Rome, Georgia. The big tariff news and the latest with Iran. Straight ahead on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. If you've been in an auto accident, don't wait. The pain might not show up right away, but the damage can last a lifetime if it's left untreated. Now, our team of doctors at PainFreeAtlanta.com specialize in post-accident chiropractic that gets to the root of the cause, and that helps you heal naturally without relying on painkillers and risky surgery and other procedures. And if your condition requires further medical attention, we work with a trusted network of qualified medical doctors and specialists to ensure that you get the full care that you deserve. Let us guide you through every step of the process safely, professionally, and with compassion. We can also find honest, qualified legal representation if necessary. Don't fall for scam artists whose only concern is their wallets and not your health. We also document your injuries so that you get the settlement you deserve. Call us at 404-333-7777 to schedule a free consultation or visit painfreeatlanta.com. That's 404-33-47s or visit painfreeatlanta.com.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union. Right now, mortgage rates are at some of the lowest levels we've seen in years. Qualified borrowers can get a 15-year fixed mortgage at just 5.0% with a 5.411 APR. Whether you're buying new or refinancing your existing mortgage, save money at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you. So come see us.
180 monthly payments of principal and interest, 15-year, 5% down payment required. Rate subject to change without notice. Subject to credit approval. Membership required.
Storm season quickly approaching. Don't get caught off guard, folks. It's Mark Aaron back from my pals at Dr. Roof. The best warranty when it comes to roof repairs in Atlanta. Up to a 5-year warranty on roof repairs. Get all the info online at drroof.com.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic. So I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything. And like you, I'm sick of career politicians. I'm running for governor to lead America in criminal deportations, to cut income taxes in half, freeze our insane property taxes, reform the system so that anyone who can work will work, and not just sit around binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos. I'll let law enforcement do their job. And if you're caught helping a child change their sex, you're going to jail. I'm Rick Jackson, and I'll get these done. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo.
11:38 on the Mark Arum Show. We're going to continue our coverage of the breaking Supreme Court news. In case you're just joining us, 6-3 vote, calling President Trump's sweeping tariffs illegal. We'll get back to that in a second. Going to update the United States and Iran in a minute as well. But I do have another pair of tickets to give away. 2 tickets to see Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band, State Farm Arena, May 2nd. Take it easy on Vin. 7th caller to Vinny Drip at 404-872-0750. Caller number 7 at 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see Bruce and the E Street Band, State Farm Arena, May 2nd. All right, continue our team coverage of the escalations between the United States and Iran. Joining us from Bloomberg News, Nick Wadhams. Nick, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Massive military buildup. President Trump giving a 10 to 15-day window. But relatedly, we are getting a meeting between the International Atomic Energy Agency's board. That's, I think, in the beginning of March, which would bump into that 10 to 15-day timeline. What does that board, that agency, have to do with the situation in Iran?
Well, basically, they would give further information on the degree to which Iran is out of compliance with its commitments, both under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and in terms of uranium enrichment. And they will also be able to give a sort of direction of travel, saying, okay, Iran has a certain amount of enriched uranium, essentially to shed light on what Iran's intentions may be. Of course, the big question is whether President Trump would be willing to wait for that in any case. I mean, you may remember last time in June of last year when he launched those strikes, he had given Iran a deadline of 10 or so days to do a deal and then went ahead with those strikes after about 3 days. So the president sometimes has shown a penchant to bluff or not adhere to his own deadline. So that's certainly a factor in this case, too.
Has the agency made any inspections recently?
No, they have not been really allowed to go into Iran under in any detailed way. But what you would see is the president potentially looking at any signal from the IAEA to essentially justify an attack, which is also what he did last time around. So they are not getting a ton of access from the Iranians, but they can give a good sense of direction of travel in terms of what Iran intends to do or whether they're willing to give up the enriched uranium that they have.
Nick, I apologize if you don't know the answer to this question, but have inspectors been there since that infamous bombing of the United States on the nuclear facilities in Iran?
No, not in any significant way.
So, I mean, just playing devil's advocate, I can't imagine President Trump's going to wait just for them to meet if they have no information or on-the-ground details about the nuclear program. Am I wrong on that assumption?
Right. I mean, so again, that's very true. He probably it wouldn't sort of factor into his thinking in terms of whether he would wait. But what's essentially expected to happen at that meeting is they may censure Iran for the nuclear program, and then refer it to the UN Security Council for further action. So if you do see negotiations sort of between the U.S. and Iran extend beyond that meeting, there could be a potential situation where the U.S. says, hey, look what the IAEA said. They just passed a resolution censoring Iran for its nuclear program. This shows that Iran has reconstituted the program that was obliterated in those strikes, or maybe it was not fully obliterated. And so this just gives us further reason to act. I mean, the president has not shown that he particularly needs international justification in the past to do strikes like this, but it may just be a factor in his thinking.
Nick, I don't know if this is in the scope of your beat at Bloomberg or not, but we had early reporting that if there is military action taken, not only might the U.S. target oil facilities in Iran, but Iran might target other nations' oil facilities in the region, and the concern that the price of oil might shoot up if this gets to a military point of conflict.
Yeah, I mean, so this is one of the big questions about and the big unknowns is what will Iran do in response? Last time when the U.S. struck, and there in concert with Israel, Iran limited essentially its strikes to Israel. So the concern is, would Iran decide to close the Strait of Hormuz? Obviously it's a huge point of travel for oil going to the west. So that's one possibility. Would it attack U.S. bases? Would it attack oil facilities in Saudi Arabia? So it's one of the big unknowns, the degree to which the U.S. will try to keep this contained in Iran, potentially to limit its nuclear program or oust the leadership. And what would Iran's response be? Would they try to limit to the U.S. and Israel, or broaden this and sort of create bigger stakes and create a wider war that would then pull in other countries? So if they attack Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates, for example, what would those countries' response be? And that's when you would start to see this thing extend beyond but beyond a war between the U.S. and Iran, or the U.S. and Israel and Iran.
And then the question of a possible regime change. I mean, just a lot of unknowables right now. Nick Wadhams, Bloomberg News. Nick, great stuff. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, only the Supreme Court could knock out a possible war with Iran off the front burner of the news right now, but that is where we stand. Listen, I'm not saying this because I'm a company fella. By the way, Deborah, I got a tweet yesterday. Remember we were talking about the Board of Peace, and then we discovered that the CEO of Apollo was on there, and I was like, oh, I better not. Someone thought I was serious. Like, listen, dude, the CEO of Apollo has no idea who I am. No clue. He couldn't pick me out of a lineup. That was not, it was tongue-in-cheek. Anyway. What was I saying? I was saying congrats to Jackie and Grayson. Jackie won a pair of tickets to see Bruce and the E Street Band May 2nd at State Farm Arena. Continue our coverage of the breaking news. Supreme Court saying 6-3 that President Trump's tariffs are no bueno. ABC News correspondent. Let's go back to Stephen Portnoy for more from Washington.
The court's bottom line is that the president cannot impose tariffs on his own, that Congress has to specifically authorize him to do it. The administration had argued that a 1977 law gave the president the power, but Chief Justice John Roberts, the court's 3 liberals, and 2 of Trump's own appointees said, no, it doesn't. The ruling invalidates the reciprocal tariffs the president has imposed under that law, and it could result in demands for more than $140 billion in refunds by importers who've paid the duties.
Yeah, we'll see. He said duties. We'll see how those rebates, if they come to fruition or not. I'm dubious that we're going to get that tariff money back as consumers, but still so many unanswered questions on that big breaking news. I don't know if this is tariff related or not, Deborah, but a major wine manufacturer has shut down operations in California.
Yeah, Gallo, which is a big
Gallo
production.
wines,
yeah, so they take a lot. They have a lot of different labels underneath the Gallo name. They're permanently going to close one of their wineries, the Ranchery Winery in St. Helen, which is going to leave 56 people out of work. And then they've also been slashing jobs at some of their other wineries, and they're basically saying, look, these Gen Zers and younger people just don't drink the way the older generations drink. We're not selling as much. In fact, consumption of wine's been down 54%.
Oh.
And so we're just trying to align with the best business practices, meaning they're just not selling
People
as
aren't
much.
drinking enough.
Right. They're not selling as much.
Is it because the price has gone up? Is it because
Probably a couple different things, right?
dry January?
Well,
Is
it's February.
Yeah, I know, but the sales
Right.
in January, or people saying I can't afford to have that glass of wine. By the way, an update: I had my 6th alcoholic beverage of the year last night.
Wow, what a lush.
I had a glass of Riuniti at Bambinelli's. Love Bambinelli's. Maya had a glass of wine with dinner. I was like, yeah, all right, give me. Have you ever had Riuniti?
I believe so.
It's like fizzy grape juice.
Yeah.
There's barely any alcohol in it, but I like. I'm a kid. I like fruity grape juice. All right, good stuff, Deborah. Thank you. All right, 11:47. We're going to come back, hit the breaking news in the Supreme Court and our top local stories. But right now, we've got to check the ride around town live with the latest. Alex Williams.
Love me some Bambinelli's, Mark. Right now, we are watching trouble in Gwinnett County. I was looking for it, and we have it on the jam cam. It's a stalled tractor trailer in the second right lane, 85 southbound at Beaver Ruin Road, exit 102. That's slowing the ride as you leave Highway 316. Still watching brake lights on the Buford Spring Connector southbound, trying to get onto I-85 South in that work zone there, heading into Midtown. While 75-85 South will stay slow for you from 17th Street down to North Avenue. Tapping the brakes northbound on and off University Avenue to Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app,
have the WSB
all the notifications you need.
If you have the WSB app,
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
Man's best friend. Loyal, trustworthy, dependable. Findlay Roofing is your roof's best friend. Loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. FindlayRoofing.com.
Flowers and chocolates are okay, but an insanely clean home from Zerorez Carpet Cleaning is sure to impress your loved one. Only Zerorez uses ZR water to clean your carpets and other surfaces without harsh chemicals. To make things sweeter, they leave zero residue behind, so your carpets stay cleaner longer, which means soft and fluffy carpets. Right now, take 20% off Zerorez standard cleaning services when you mention WSB or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Are you a plumber but looking for a better work-life balance? Superior Plumbing is looking for a few good plumbers to join their team. They offer a stable career with great pay and benefits. More importantly, you can build your career with a trusted company.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Access to affordable credit helps me pay my employees, but I don't really need it.
Inflation is killing me. But who cares? Big retailers are making record profits. That's why we support the Durbin Marshall credit card bill.
See? Banks and credit unions help small businesses make payroll. This bill would cut the vital resources they need.
While increasing megastore profits. They deserve it, don't they?
Tell Congress, stop the Durbin Marshall money grab for corporate megastores. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hey folks, it's Scott Slade with another great tip from my friends at Myland, Atlanta's local experts for home loans. So many people have credit card balances they don't pay off every month, which can make the first part of the year more stressful than it should be. The guys at Myland say a great product to use to reduce the amount you pay is a home equity line of credit, or HELOC. This allows you to use the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit card debt without touching your first mortgage. HELOCs are typically easier and faster to close than a full mortgage, so you can expect to get cash much faster. Whether you want to pay off debts or handle large expenses, HELOCs can be a great tool to use. To find out if one is right for you, call Myland at 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online, it's myland.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. And please tell them I sent you.
NMLS in Georgia residential mortgage license C148769, located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Mylan is an equal housing lender.
All right, you know what Pure Talk's favorite holiday is? President's Day, because they believe wireless service should only cost you a couple of presidents, just a Jackson and a Lincoln to be exact. And for $25 a month with Pure Talk, you can get unlimited talk and text, plenty of data. Compare that to their competitors. Now, the big carriers would rather celebrate Benjamin Franklin Day so they can charge your family hundreds and hundreds every month. And by the way, he wasn't even a president. Pure Talk is a veteran-owned company that supports veterans' causes. They invest in the U.S. They have a U.S. customer service team. When you call, you're talking to someone right here at home. And Pure Talk, they use the same cell towers, same 5G network. You get the same service without the inflated price. $25 a month, unlimited talk and text and plenty of data. No contract, no cancellation fee. Just dial pound 250. Say the keyword save now. You save an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250. Keyword save now. Make the switch to Pure Talk.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Ignition. Liftoff. The MA6 vehicle has lifted off.
64 years ago today, as heard on WSB Radio, John Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth aboard the spacecraft Friendship 7. American hero, John Glenn. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. It's been a busy show. Our news coverage will continue throughout the day on the breaking tariffs news, the latest with Iran and the United States. I just want to breathe for a second as we approach lunch hour, Deborah, and give the folks some good news. Chick-fil-A giving away free Chicky biscuits, as Jared Yamamoto calls them.
Chicky biscuits. Okay, yeah. Chick-fil-A right now through Saturday, as long as you're a Chick-fil-A One member, you can get a free chicken biscuit. All you have to do is go and get it on the app, basically, but you don't have to buy anything else with it. Just go in there while supplies last.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I'm not a big iced coffee drinker, but I love this giveaway that Dunkin' Donuts is doing, too. They're giving away a single mitten.
Yeah, so if you ever have iced coffee, maybe your hand gets a little bit cold, right?
I never drink it.
Well, especially in the winter,
Yeah.
it's cold outside. You're drinking iced coffee, so they're giving away a mitten for your left hand so
That's
that you can
hilarious.
hold your iced coffee.
I went to Target yesterday after Bambinelli's, and in Target they had a koozie for ice cream, an ice cream koozie. So you could be like a fat guy like me and get a pint of Ben & Jerry's and put it in a koozie and hold it. And it reminded me, for 2 years, Maya has had something called an avocado sock.
Oh, yeah, I've got those. Of course we have those.
She was emptying out her lunchbox. I'm like, what the hell is that? She's like, it's an avocado sock. I'm like, when did you get that? 2 years ago? So that's a thing.
Yeah, any avocado fan will have one.
Yeah. One more food-related note. We got to tip our hat to our friends at Steam House Lounge. They sponsored our lunch. this afternoon. I'm going to tuck into this tuna melt and lobster bisque. If you're new to Atlanta, this weekend is Oyster Fest. It is a must every year on the calendar. Oyster Fest by Steamhouse Lounge, Midtown. Roasted char-grilled oysters, low country boil, po' boys, bisque, full bar, live music, Mo Lauda, Nashville Nation, Hall Pass, and more. If you've never been, you got to go to the Oyster Fest from Steamhouse Lounge.
Now you know, because of the Mark Arum Show.
We had a lot of breaking news, starting with this.
He was released. He was sent back. He's living at a private residence at the King's Sandringham estate. And we did get to see that really remarkable image of him kind of being driven out. Not much life in his face, really, the face of a man who looks like he lost everything.
Peter Haralambos joined us live with the latest on the arrest of former Prince Andrew. Now you know.
We have the significant military buildup, and we know the administration said and done that they are not afraid to take military action if a deal is not reached. We saw that last year with the strikes on Iran's nuclear site.
Natalie Brandt joined us live in D.C., previewing what could be a busy weekend between the United States and Iran. Now you know.
I believe the last estimate I've seen, the U.S. government was collecting about $33 billion a month in tariffs. So, in that they have been in place since, April last year? If they have to be coughed back up, that's going to be problematic.
Political analyst Bill Crane on the breaking tariff news. Now you know.
Prices are not going to go down. There's a lot of influences here, not just tariffs, but climate change has really affected, the price of chocolate, the price of coffee, price of bananas. So we've got climate change, we've got labor increased costs, as well as the tariffs.
Food industry analyst Phil Lempert joined us live, says despite the loss of the tariffs, food prices will not go down. And finally, now you know.
If those tariffs are now ruled illegal, it changes the supply chain for hotels, for cruise lines, for airlines, how they buy their supplies, equipment, their fuel, everything that might be having a tariff on it. Next thing you know, those prices go down.
Travel expert Peter Greenberg on the travel impact from the loss of tariffs.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum star of the show?
We had a plethora of amazing guests. Haralambos, Natalie Brandt, Greenberg, Phil Lampert, Bill Crane, Nancy Liu from News Nation, Nick Wadhams from Bloomberg News. Core 4 did amazing. I'm gonna give it to myself. I know it's gonna draw ridicule and scowl. I know. Listen, I had a tour group in here juggling the breaking news.
No.
Everyone's upset.
They took photos with all of us.
Yeah.
They was asking Longo every question.
I'm sorry. You guys were all phenomenal. You're all honorable mentions, but I got to get on the scoreboard, so I'm getting star of the show. It's been a rough week. Social media, at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Breaking tariff coverage continues. Stay safe. Have a great Friday, Atlanta.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard, sponsored by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
About 2/3 of young investors make a decision based on what they see on TikTok or other social media videos. Fundamental investing is much simpler than what you're going to hear on a social media video. Simple things make you money. Investing in a retirement plan like a Roth and putting money in every single month, every pay period is key to wealth spread out in mutual funds.
Thinking about replacing an old toilet? Now is the perfect time. Dave Baker here from Mr. Plumber. Right now, when you purchase a new toilet installation from Mr. Plumber, you'll receive a $150 credit towards any other plumbing service. That's right. Upgrade your bathroom and save on repairs, drain cleaning, water heaters, and more. Fast, professional service from the plumbers you